Neevesknives. I'm Jared with my good friend Scab, and we are live, ladies and gentlemen, live on Neevesknives. How's everybody doing tonight? How you doing, Scab?
And so far, so good. You doing all right?
I'm doing all right. Your channel's been really popping off. I was just checking on it yesterday.
We've been doing good, man. We're coming on.
Yeah, for sure. You know what? Actually, I know you always do your intro, and I really like your intro. Would you mind doing it for us tonight?
I'll be glad to do it. Guys, listen, there was a time in this country where 22 veterans a day took their own lives. Now, stats show that number's going down, but anything above zero is unacceptable. Vets, we love you. You have a place with me, and I know you have a place with Jared and his heart. If you're struggling, please reach out. Please. If you're an addict, never quit quitting. And welcome in. Glad to see you. And thank you for having me, Jared.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, see, we got my cousin Breeze in here, Mr. Moda, Yoda, Alice, Cue Ball. How's everybody doing? Antimatter, Dennis, Ed. We got a bunch of people in here. Very cool.
Good deal.
Excuse my nose running, guys. My nose has been running for like over a week straight, man. I just can't stop it. I don't know if I got allergies or what, but I'm perfectly fine. I'm not sick at all. Anyways, what do you got going on the 4th? You doing anything?
Man, I work today, and I think we're just going to kind of chill. We may get on the water. We like to kayak. Megan and I like to kayak. And we live in a town, man. 10 minutes, we're in the water. 5 minutes from the river, and there's all kind of creeks. So we'll probably do that. How about y'all?
I had it all planned to do a fireworks show with my cousins, but because of the foot thing, I recently bought, actually just came in the mail today, somebody that's had the same injury I have, recommended this, basically it's like a leg you put on your knee, and it makes it to where you can hold your injured leg up and have a leg. So I got that, so I'm hoping I can still show up tomorrow. So I'm going to go to a fireworks show actually tomorrow night, hopefully with my cousin. We're going to see how it's going. I've been trying to take it easy as much as possible because I want the skin or the meat on the inside of my foot to start healing before I start messing around. Because, once I get with the boys, it's like, everything's out the window. So shout out to the new member, Zero Coaster 305. Thank you for becoming a Bang Gang member, and shout out to the Bang Gang squad. Seems logical. Says, Jared, go let your mom into the house. Oh man. Hey mom. Jared, I'm at the front door, your mother. Well, I hope you're not at the front door. I'm not upstairs, and I can't get upstairs.
How many stitches did you get, man? How many?
Well, they were planning on 22, but it wound up. So what happened was they have to numb it, right? And the shots are so incredibly painful that. Yeah, I guess my mom's outside or something. You go talk to her, tell her I can't come out there. Anyways, will you go handle that? Yeah, I'm going. Where was I? Oh yeah, so the shots, they're so damn painful, and they wouldn't take anyways. Like there's so many nerves in your foot that they wouldn't even numb the spots they were doing. So the stitches were better than the shots, so it wound up being like over 25, 26 shots. I don't even know how many, but it was a lot. It could have been over 30. It was so many, but the stitches, it wound up being 16 or something like that, because he tried to do it. He was a surgeon, so he was really good, and he tried to do it in a way where he could separate them a little bit more, so he didn't have to do as many, because it's just so fucking painful. And I mean, I was holding up good. I mean, I was fine, but he doesn't want to have to do it because he knows injecting your foot. I mean, anybody think about it right now, stepping on a nail really slow. Think about doing that. That's the way every single one of them felt.
Why the hell?
Maybe turn that down.
Yeah, that's your mom. She's coming down no matter what.
Damn it. Scab, give me 1 second, buddy.
Go ahead, brother. Well, I'll take over from here and we'll let Jared talk to his mother. All right, so here's the deal, guys. For those of you who do not know me, I'm Scab. My channel is Choir Boys Cutlery Outdoors. And, you know, I'm going to take over Neevesknives for now. Jared's killing it. He's a good dude, and I appreciate him having me on. Let's do this. While Jared's checking on his mom, I hope that's his mom, and you got to check on your mom. Down here in the South, son, she'll beat you to death if you don't go to that door. Let's do a pocket check. What y'all carrying, man? I can tell you. Now, everybody's got me pegged as a fixed blade guy. I want to show y'all something. Matt, thank you, brother. Matt Lundy said, Scab, I just found your page, Blade Ogre. What's up, bro? Hi, Alicia, a.k.a. Alicord Paracord. All right, here's the deal, guys. For those of y'all that know me, you'll know this. This is my work Tuff Gear Nomad EDC. I wished I could remember the dude that made the leather sheath because that's kind of important. But it's got the ulti clip. So here's the deal, man. Y'all let me know what you're carrying. Dennis Gerber, 06 Auto. Louis, what's going on? American Louis's got a Jaeger. Sweet. NAF Sergeant, what's up, brother? Loving it. Now, what y'all will notice is this eye floats. So I'm not looking over here at Megatron. I'm trying to read the thing. Ed carried a PMP Revenge today. KIZER K390. How are you liking that steel, brother? That K390. You like that? Pandemic. It's got a Viper. DP Knife Sharpening Service. Well, hello in Ireland. How are y'all, man?
Yep. See you guys later. Sorry about that, guys. I'm back.
What are you guys doing tonight?
We were just doing. There's Joe.
I had a unexpected mother and father guest, so shout out to my mom and stepfather showing up to say hi to me.
We got a pocket check going on. We got Joe is in the house. So everybody's doing a pocket checking. Hoping
pocket checking. I was actually carrying the Chef today, man. I recently just got this thing, and I love the Chef, man. It's such a good knife. Such a solid knife. Really good one by SPYDERCO. And I like that it's one you don't have to worry about, meaning like, you know, corrosion wise, and it's just a super solid knife. I've always wanted one, and I've tried getting them on the secondary so many times, and I finally just said, man, I'm going to buy this damn thing. I wanted it so bad for so long.
So here's something
hey, Joe.
I wanted to ask you, and I'll
yes, sir.
forget if I don't. What's your go to hell knife? Not your favorite knife, not your most expensive knife, but your knife that no matter what, if you walk by and see it, it goes in your pocket every day. Do you have one? Just if shit hits the fan, and it's not the favorite, but something that you just cannot. It's just the go to hell knife. Do you have one?
To be honest, and I hate to do this because I know it's like kind of cliche, you know, but my K390 SPYDERCO, and it's about the steel more than anything. But I actually have one other one, and it's another SPYDERCO. And you know what's crazy, because I never really even liked SPYDERCOs, but my Slish Bowie is another one. That knife, man, it's just the CTS XHP on that SPYDERCO did. They did such a good job. My factory edge on it, I had beat the shit out of it and could not get it to go dull. I wound up sharpening it just because eventually, and just, I don't know what they did with it, what type of magic they did with it, but because of that knife holding its edge the way it does, I just feel like, you know, I could do anything with it, and it's it always stays nice and keen. It's easy to strap back, but yeah, these two, they're really good for me. And they just, it seems like when I'm walking out the door, if I, you know, don't think of anything else, the Slish Bowie will just go right in my pocket, or yeah, this K390, because it's the same way. K390 is just, it's an incredible steel. It's a high carbide steel, so it's not going to be something stainless for everybody, but it just, the edge lasts forever on it, and I appreciate that. So
is there a difference in M390 and K390 then?
yeah, big time.
Okay.
So M390 is going to be a lot more stainless. K390 is going to hold its edge longer. So
Okay.
M390, if it's heat treated properly, it's relatively close to K390, but K390 in almost every metric possible, it will outcut M390.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's an incredible steel edge retention wise. 10V is basically, they're very similar. K390 and 10V.
Okay.
So
Okay. Woot Diddy, what's up, brother? My guy Roaster was saying he had K390 and I've seen it. And is your mom still outside? Did you leave her outside?
no, she's with my wife. She's with my wife. Yeah, no, here she is. Yes, I am outside. She's outside with my wife. That's a late message, I think.
I got you.
But I didn't know she was coming by. Otherwise, this live would have went a little differently. We would have probably started late.
Well, I'm sorry. If you need to visit, I can hold down the fort. We can do whatever. We were talking about all kind of stuff.
My mom lives a couple hours from here. Really? So she's in town seeing my sister. Gotcha. And because I was injured, I was trying to avoid my mother. You know, I didn't want her seeing me injured. I didn't never call her and told her I was injured.
Gotcha.
So, you know, she's my mom. I want to protect her, you know.
Absolutely. I bet she was.
So she shows up to, you know, to pull some strings.
We've got Joe from Steel Forged and Fire is working, but he's watching. Casey from Knives Fast is here. Somebody asked on that K390, and they asked before I could, does it have a higher Rockwell?
What's that? I'm sorry.
That K390, is it usually better in a higher Rockwell or?
Yeah, it can be heat treated up to, I think 67 is what it can go up to. I don't think they go up that high on Spydercos. I think they basically do it at like 63, 64, something like that. But yeah, it can take a higher Rockwell. I think that's around what it's usually at, between like 60 and 66 or something like that. But yeah, it has the ability to go harder, but I believe it has more carbides than M390. But M390 is the benefits of M390 is that it's so stainless. Like it's very, very stainless. And to have the type of edge retention it has with the stainless, plus it's not considered a tough steel, but it's relatively tough. K390 is it's plenty tough, holds a super good edge, but you're not going to get the corrosion resistance out of it. So it's going to be a steel that patinas.
This one is the Billy Watt demo, the Lion steel.
Oh yeah,
it's in M390, and it's held up incredibly well. Now I've had DJ Horn. DJ used to work with Southern Grind, and he's an OEM and been around. I can't remember the damn people he works for some now, but he sharpened this up, and it's held up incredibly well. He also anodized my scales for me for my boy E. But I've enjoyed this knife, this Billy Watt. It's a tough ass knife. I've got a couple hard use demos on it, and it's held up really, really well.
Nice.
I will tell you, my go to hell knife is my CQC7 from Emerson.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know why, dude. It's held up. It's just one of those things. I about cut both of these fingers off with it. But if I'm walking out the house, I take it.
No, I'm on a live.
Do you want me to just sit here and talk to us first?
No, I'm not going up there.
She thinks you are because she said that he's taken over or something.
No, baby, tell her he's my guest. I can't.
I got you, bro.
Give me a second, Scab. I'm sorry.
I got you, bro.
Give me a second,
we're good.
brother. I apologize so much, man. I'm sorry.
Dude, we're good. Listen, I do the same for my mom. All right, so we're taking over Knives. Well, I was going to say Knives Fast, but we're going to take over Neeves Knives. Casey, I'm glad you're here because we're going to need a little help here, guys, because none of y'all probably know who the hell I am. Listen, here's what let's do, because when Mama comes, man, what can you do? I'm telling y'all, if my mama showed up, she'd be sitting right here beside me, and that'd just be the end of that. It is the Scab Show. I'm glad y'all are here. Here's the difference between me and Jared. Now, other than the fact that I'm just phenomenally good looking, Jared is a folder guru. I do more fixed blades, more stuff like that. So y'all hit me with some questions. Give me some topics. Let's do some stuff like that. Because here's the deal, man. You can't bail on your mom. Y'all know that as good as I know that. It don't matter what area of the country you from. You got to do. You know what I'm saying? If we got to tell some stories, we'll do that. The roaster, let's just keep going back to you. The Rex 121. I am Scab and you're not, but that's what we'll do. Okay, here's what I'm going to do, guys, because I know I look a little slow, and I am, so it takes me a minute to read stuff. Let's see. M390 or S90 best overall. Guys, y'all, I've got to go with y'all. Now, let me say this, and don't crucify me because it was a gift. I have a Medford Praetorian T in S90V. I'd really like to, and that thing, man, all the other aside, the knife has held up phenomenally well. So I'd like to know that as well. Somebody shout that out. M390 or S90. Now, knives, Casey, is put the name of your new knife in there, brother, because I know we had the one design and I know you put another design out there. And that's what we'll do. And I don't know what the hell that says, Casey. Somebody, so y'all work with me. Here's the deal. The Medford and S90V, I've got a hard use video on. And what you're going to find, guys, is this. With me, I try not to abuse the knife, but we do hard use stuff. There's a reason for that. Casey at Knives Fast, Jared with Neeves, all you guys who do the pocket knives and show the knives and discuss the knives, y'all do a great job. My knowledge isn't there, as you can tell from some of the questions I'm asking Jared. Kongs and bases, I love that dude. Love that dude in Germany. Now, my knowledge isn't there. That's why y'all don't see me do a lot of folders and things like that. And if you do see me do it, I'll be glad to or look up the Medford review, because I beat the hell out of it. My buddy Donnie beats the hell out of it. But if you see me with a folder, you're going to see hard use stuff. Again, try not to abuse stuff. I'll show y'all what's my speed. Work Tuff Gear sends me a lot of knives, and I just posted a video tonight on this one. This is the Puzon Wilderness Bowie. It's SK85. And guys, I'm going to tell y'all something. Somebody said S90 versus Maximet. Now, see, Maximet's nothing I've ever messed with. Donations are going to go to Scab, and we're going to help starving kids everywhere, especially mine. So that's what we're doing. Joe Isabel said, only stupid question is the one you don't ask. Yeah, and here's the deal, man. There will come a time where I do more folders and discuss it, but there's so many good guys on YouTube, Jared, just guy after guy who's got that knowledge. That's the thing. My thing is more showing it. The Puzon Bowie, Billy Spar, Rocks. I got one in the first ever drop, bro. I literally, my video just uploaded because we're plugging Scab. This is the Scab Show. I was so impressed. And if you've watched my channel, you know I get hyped about knives. I just love knives, man. Here's the thing, and I take some flack sometimes because people are like, oh, is there a knife you don't like? Yeah, the ones you don't see on my channel. Plain and simple. But that Puzon Bowie, I'm telling y'all, right now, that thing, it's sick, man. I mean, I'm gonna give y'all a sneak peek. Now, this one, we got about 6-7 months before they hit production runs. So this is kind of a sneaky peek. Kara here. I'm planning to be in zombie apocalypse and I need something long lasting. What would you recommend? I'm going to be honest. Here's what I've said about the zombie apocalypse. People talk about going to the woods. Y'all know how many people are going to be in the damn woods? Everybody's going to the woods. There's going to be 2 million people in the woods. So here's what I would do. Zombie apocalypse, I'm taking my Puzon wilderness buoy, and I'm taking a bag of knives and guns, and I'm walking right out in the middle of the street, and I'm going to kill as many people as I can so my wife and dogs can get away, and probably going to take out the neighbors behind me because, not that I don't like her, bless her heart, but she's a little too big for her britches. So that's kind of my plan. So, Kara, I'd say anything work Tuff Gear, the Wolverine, the Puzon wilderness buoy, the proper chopper, I think we're good.
All right, I'm back.
Crease that I would recommend. You know, here's the thing, brother.
Yeah.
One of the things that they're doing bumps, huh? What are you doing?
Me? I just got done climbing upstairs on my knees.
Lord.
I'm in a basement, so for me to get out, holy shit, it's a journey.
Here's the question I would just ask. Do I have any crease I would recommend? Here's what I'm gonna say.
Any what? I'm sorry.
Kukris.
Kukris.
If you'll look up, Work Tuff Gear has one called the Nightmare 3. Wicked looking kukri. And here's the thing, guys, with Work Tuff Gear, they come out of the box ready to rock. I meant to show y'all this one. But
I'll pull Nightmare 3.
Yeah, Work Tuff Gear Nightmare 3. It's actually designed by Shaney with Shade Indonesia. Big fan of Shaney.
Oh yeah, here I got it right here.
And you know, here's the other thing: the Kukri House does a great job with just standard Kukris.
Yeah.
Now, here's what I got to say about the Kukri House: there are times where you may have to sharpen it, but construction and all that. This is, if you're looking for something, a good EDC kukri, this right here, and I've got one. If my lovely wife will come in, I'll grab mine and show you a picture of my
You got
hand.
this exact one right here?
I do.
Okay. How long is it? I'm trying to see. It does say light and wait, what does it say? Light, yeah, powerful kukri. It says compact. Wow. I'm wondering what length it is. Oh, here we go. Oh, wow. Okay, the blade length is 8.7. That is a relative, not small, but you know, good size.
It's another one, and I've got. If you go to my channel, Carboys Cutler Outdoors, go to the Work Tuff Gear playlist. I've got that, and again, I show hard use. But what the other thing I was going to show y'all, this is one of Zeke Minacho's. Jared, this is one that we got a production run coming in about 6 or 7 months. This one is it's called the Little Evil Fighter.
I like the name.
7.5-inch blade. Now he's got another one that's a 5-inch blade, but this is called Little Evil. Zeke Minacho, Work Tuff Gear, again, SK85 G10.
So that other one is just a little bit bigger than that one. Not by much though.
No, and dude, the sharpness level that they bring is next level. I'm just telling you, it's out of the box. There are
some companies that they do a really good job on their sharpness. And then some companies, and you know what a lot of it is, is the angle they're sharpening at. A lot of times, at least from what I've noticed, when I get pocket knives, especially, and they just kind of have the pattern of not being very sharp, 98% of the time, it's because they're using a super high angle when they sharpen it. They're sharpening it like 30 degrees per side. But the high level sharpness ones are usually doing a good angle, like 20 degrees per side for a factory edge.
Okay. Well, now explain to me the difference, because I would is a 20 degree not thinner than a 30?
So like if you're looking at an edge bevel, right? So how big the edge is, a 20 degree would be bigger, meaning it's a lower angle. So when you think about it like this, right? A high angle would be like this, like an axe, right? And a low angle would be like a chef knife, right? Like really low. So if you put that into edge, you know, like thinking about an edge, it'd be keener. So it's a bigger edge bevel rather than a lower edge bevel. Now, the differences in what they're good for, a low angle would be good for slicing and sharpness and keenness and edge retention. A high angle, which would be more like this, would be better for hard use. If you're going to be hard on your edge and you don't want it to chip or roll or anything like that. Now, the problem is that the sharpness is not there usually. It's tough, but you're going to lose edge retention for sure. The lower the angle, the better the higher the edge retention, but also the weaker the edge. Edge retention and toughness are two different things. Edge retention is basically the edge's wear resistant, how long it can cut before it starts going dull, and the toughness is how much it can withstand without rolling or chipping.
Okay. Well, one thing that I was noticing, like with all the work Tuff Gear, they put on there that it's a saber grind with a convex cutting edge. Does that make sense to you?
A saber grind with a convex cutting edge.
Yeah.
Yeah, a convex is going to make it to where it's going to be a tougher edge where you can do low angles and make it tougher. So you can increase the level of sharpness without sacrificing toughness.
Okay.
Because a convex is going to be rounded a little bit, and
Right.
that's going to make it to where you can use a low angle when you sharpen it while still keeping the toughness, because a convex edge is tougher than a V grind.
Gotcha. Well, that's what Work Tuff Gear does with all of theirs. And I'm telling you, dude, if you watch, what I've started doing, and I wanted to thank you personally on here. Clemens, what's going on, brother? For reviewing the video last week, because I took a lot of what y'all said to heart, and I put it into the video that I released today. But
awesome.
one thing I did do, or I tried to do, is I'll cut some paper at the beginning, because you'll see guys like shaving hair and doing all that. I do it at the beginning and I do it at the end to see how the edge holds up.
Yeah.
Because you know for yourself, when you do a demonstration, a 12-minute video, 15 minutes, it takes 5-6 hours to get that much footage.
Oh, yeah. I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean.
At the end, now I'll say this about Joe. His shit's sharp, because he come down a couple months ago, and we got to go. Here's what's crazy, man. Joe lives in New York, and guys, Joe is my partner on Blade Talk with Scab and Joe. That's our other channel. But they can't.
Yeah, can somebody link their channels? You can actually, if one of the moderators can possibly link Steel Forged in Fire, and then you guys do your podcast. You guys do your podcast on which channel?
Blade Talk with Scab and Joe.
Blade Talk with Scab and Joe.
Todd Carr, what's going on, man? Yeah, but the thing is he don't get to carry anything. So when he come to Florida, and I've got pictures of he and I walking down the road with swords and katanas, we just walked out in the swamp and started cutting stuff, man.
Because he's in New York, right?
Yeah.
Since he's in New York, you don't get to carry it, but by you, he can just whatever, right?
Yeah, we don't see that. That's what kind of limitations do you have? You're in Illinois.
I'm outside
right?
of Chicago, so I got limitations, but not like downtown. So downtown Chicago is like 3 inches or less. It's like under 3-inch blade. Where I'm at, it really doesn't matter. It probably depends on the cop, but I basically just carry whatever I want. I mean, I don't carry swords and shit, but I carry pocket knives of whatever size I want. I have been popped by the cops a couple times, and I can't remember what knives I had on me, but they always just gave them back afterwards. They never gave me no shit. So,
well, that's if we can carry whatever, we carry fixed blades. Nobody says anything down here. Nobody says anything. So it's hard sometimes when people say, "Well, I can't carry this" or "I can't do that." There's no real repercussion. I mean, literally. The buoys that I showed, that's something that when I was doing underground utility work, man, I just put it on my belt and carry it. Nobody's going to stop you and say anything here.
Yeah, well, it's a different world compared to, I think, living outside of a city or anything like that. It's especially, with certain certain kinds of cities. They're going to have so many rules, regulations, as many as they can get. If they can get a regulation, they're going to put it there. So, that's the way Chicago is now. They have gotten better. And shout out to Knife Rights also for going around the country and helping out with all that, trying to get back our rights, especially with knives and stuff, because man, some places just have the most ridiculous. It doesn't even make sense. Like not even on like like in a statistical way. And it's kind of like the gravity knife thing. Where on earth did they come up with the study that gravity knives were more dangerous than a fixed blade or a pocket knife? It's like there isn't one, right? There isn't one. It's probably actually the safest knife when it comes to, like doing harm. But they come up with whatever they want, because it's all based on fear. Not saying that knife attacks don't happen, but the way the knife closes and opens isn't the determination of whether or not it's going to be a dangerous knife or not.
Right.
Most problems happen from kitchen knives, actually. Most knife attacks and I guess crime would be from kitchen knives.
Yeah, well, that's what somebody's in the heat of the moment. Somebody reaches down, picks up a butcher knife, and carries it. Somebody said, "Knife guy, felon, AK, can't buy a gun. I can buy a gun and carry it if I want to. I've been shot. I don't carry a gun. I carry a knife because I use it at work every day."
See, I separate the two. I get that comment all the time, and it doesn't make sense to me because, like, what does your firearm have to do with anything with what you're cutting, right? Like, if you're if you're cutting straps, boxes, cardboard, or anything like that, right? You can't shoot it, so you're gonna need an edge, right? And then, like, if you do carry a firearm, like for self-defense, your knife would be the backup to that, meaning like I always say, like if you're tending to somebody wounded, right, you need to cut their clothes off. Say if it's like a seatbelt wrapped around somebody and you need to get it off of them, you can cut it. I always mention a dog attacking your child and you can't get a shot off, right? Like a blade would come in handy there. Lots of different reasons of why a blade would work out good in a defensive situation. Obviously, if it's a human attacker, a firearm would be the best option, but not everybody can carry a firearm.
Well, not everybody carries the damn things. I've got a bunch of them. I don't carry them. The thing is this: I use a knife every day at work, every single day of my life. And that's what was going back to the I've had to go to pocket fixed blades because I do powder coating and sandblasting. I'm not carrying a $500 knife to work to get it ruined. Just not doing it.
Right. I get it.
And, so I do the pocket fixed blades, and that I'm really big on those now, man. Whether it's work Tuff Gear, I've got a little RMJ, and I use it every single day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I got a couple here actually. I got a couple. You pocket fixed blades?
I love pocket fixed blades, man.
Yeah, I don't mind them. I actually not the first one, but one of the first ones that really opened my eyes to them was actually Mike Emler's Sea Snake, because it was a little Warncliffe, and at the time I was working at a distillery, and I don't know, I'd probably go through 40, 50 straps a day, opening up plastic. And, we would get boxes wrapped in plastic that you got to cut out. And then you got to open up the boxes. So hundreds of boxes a day opening up. So a Warncliffe was perfect. And this little thing was it was super, super easy to use. And the blade shape worked good. The geometry was great. And yeah, super easy to carry, lightweight. So, I totally understand the ED fixed blade.
Man, that for me, and like I said, I wish I knew who made this damn leather sheath, but this one's got the ulti clip. I stick it in my pocket, and I just carry this Nomad EDC. I love this thing. And the thing is this, and you know this, People talk about knives for self-defense. I've never carried a knife for self-defense. I've been cut, been stabbed. It sucks ass, but it's good to have one on you, depending on what you're doing. The other thing I carry is this little stinger. I love this thing right here, man. I love the handle. I love the ergos. And really, Eric Alder is the designer on this one. He's got a bigger one that's the Woodscraft Chonto. Believe it or not, for bushcraft and things like this thing, and I use this every day as well for cutting zip ties, opening package. You know how you do.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's more why I carry the pocket fixed blade.
For sure. The 99% of things.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's what I say. A knife is going to be good for the 99%. Now, if there is that time in your life where you run into something that is a life and death situation, it'd be good to have a knife on you. You know, yeah. And I'm not talking about like a human threat. I'm talking about the other like crazy things that can happen in the world. You never know.
And a sharp knife. It's important to have a sharp
knife. That is
always.
Right. Even more importantly, make sure it's sharp.
I'm a huge believer in that, man.
Yeah. Same.
I use what I carry, but at the same time, I will keep one in pocket that's razor sharp that I won't use.
I actually do. Similar. I'll carry one that like is more of the beater, and then I carry one that just has a super keen edge. And it's not that I won't use it. I'll use it, but it's gonna go through things that's not just gonna dull the edge like that. I'm not gonna scrape it across concrete, right? You know.
You're getting hammered in the comments for stepping on a knife. Clemens, that's awesome, dude. You're gonna love that jackal. Yeah,
just don't step on them. Yes, just don't step on them. But you know, freak accidents do happen. So,
bro, that's crazy. For what happened to you, that the stars aligned.
Yeah,
I saw a picture on Instagram, dude. I thought it was your calf.
Yeah, no, it's the exact bottom of my foot. But you know, like I was talking to Justin from OCD from EDC earlier, and like we were talking, you know, the way it went. If anything happened differently, it wouldn't have been possible. It's just everything worked out perfect in a bad way that my foot came down on it as right as it deployed before it ever even got a chance to lay down. And, you know, because of me thinking my phone shattered or got cracked, my brain was focusing on looking for cracks. I didn't acknowledge that a blade slipped out of my hand. And then when I did, like when my brain fired, you dropped a knife, it was already too late. You know, and you're not dropping a knife far, you know, my hand is down here towards my hip. So it only had to fall, you know, this far. And it hit
like it landed. That's the thing.
Yeah, and it landed right on the flipper tab. Pow! And then bam, here comes my foot.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you is how the hell it even deployed?
It must have, well, the only way it could have is it must have hit the flipper tab and just right there, bang, deployed. And it did. But the crazy thing is that my foot had to catch it before it laid on its side. It caught it while it was still upright. It didn't land and then stop perfectly like this. It must have landed and then my foot came down. And since I had no idea, all my weight was coming. It was, but like I said, though, that was nothing compared to those damn shots.
Because there's no way not to feel something in the bottom of your foot, man.
Right.
There's no way.
No, yeah. But those shots were the worst part, though, man. Those shots they tore me up.
Well, do what they tell you to do. Keep it clean and keep it from getting infected, man.
Yeah, I'm good at wound care. I've done wound care for so long. So I'm really good at wound care. I'll be fine.
Well, I hope so, because if not, you're screwed, especially there. That's the thing, the bottom of your foot, man.
Yeah, I know. It's a bad spot. It's a bad spot for anything.
And you were barefoot.
Of course, yeah.
So
it was in the morning.
Ran around with no shoes.
Well, I was in my studio and I was just going to take a thumbnail picture. So, but there's no reason for me to be running around in shoes. I mean, obviously that is a reason, but it's not like I leave knives laying around the floor, sitting up. You know. Like, of course, if I lay them on the floor, I got them, you know, opened up facing upward, you know, so you can dance around them when you're walking around the house.
Mm. Mm, 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 mm,
Jump rope with knives.
Lord have mercy, man. That
But hey,
turn.
shit happens though, you know, and
It
that
does.
is a thing, you know. Like another guy that I talked to had the exact, I don't know if like the situation was the same, but he got cut in the exact same spot, except for his tendons got cut through. He's the one that recommended me this boot I have, and I'm blessed that didn't happen. Yeah, I consider myself
Yeah,
very lucky. I definitely
dude.
consider myself lucky.
All bullshit aside, man. If you'd have cut tendons, you'd have been.
I'll tell you what, I thought so though. There was so much blood. Whew, there was a
Yeah.
lot of blood. But no, that knife that you had earlier, what was it? Was it that lion steel? That kind of reminds me of the knife I stepped on, because it was this
Really?
knife right here.
Yeah.
They resemble each other a little bit.
That's a
When
good
you
size
pulled it
knife.
out, I was like, "Oh, that's the knife I stepped on."
What is that lefty's knife you stepped on?
No, it's a CMB Lurker is the name of it, but it's a broad blade. So I wish it was a 940 I stepped on, because then it wouldn't have been such a tall blade, you know, because it went all the way through. So how deep is it? That deep.
Man, that had to hurt.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy. Well, hopefully it'll get better, and hopefully
So
your mom will see you.
what kind of what knives have you been looking at recently? Anything grabbed your attention that you maybe have in?
I just released a video today on the Puzon Wilderness buoy, but I've got this one, man. There's a guy, Timbo 437. He's an awesome dude.
Yeah, I know Timbo.
You know Timbo?
Yeah, good dude.
Man, people like him and Rusty Knife Lover and a guy named JR, they keep people in knives, man. He sent me this one. This was a LT Wright.
Oh yeah. I love LT Wright. Yep.
Look at that thing, man.
Yep. That's a great knife.
I think this might be one of the bigger ones they make, the Nesmic style. I'm really, 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 really digging. And that's a bigger, if I can get the damn thing, that's a bigger LT Wright. I just did one. I think y'all watched the video of it last week. But I'm big into LT Wrights right now, man, because
I always say LT Wright, like when people ask me like what are the best bushcraft knives, LT Wright is some of the best.
Yeah.
They're custom, they're hand done, just badass knives all the way around.
I did these. I like this one. This one has the orange liners that I got to clean it up for us.
What is that one? Do you know the name of that one?
I did. Hold on, I'll tell you. It's the Soaps, SOSPES.
Okay.
But it's got the scallop micarta and the orange liners.
Okay.
And this thing, now I did LT Wright and Battle Horse Knives. I've been doing some of their stuff. I really, really, really like those. Really like those. They fit well in hand. They're very sharp. And just like you and I talked about, the LT Wrights come with that Scandi grind. Man,
so sharp.
It's just
scary sharp.
Yeah.
That was probably some of the sharpest fixed blades I've ever touched was from LT Wright.
Yeah.
Just unbelievably sharp. Well, because it comes down to a zero grind. The Scandi comes down to a zero grind. So that's basically an edge bevel. And it's, holy shit, sharp.
And it's fun. To me, how I do my demonstrations, that's what I call them. Now, and that was the other thing. My stuff's really not reviews because I pick up a knife and show you how it works with my limited skill set, unless I carry it for a long time. But if you got a sharp knife, yes, they come in there, you need them, but dude, they're just a lot more fun. They're a lot more fun to demonstrate the test. You can cut all kind of stuff. And it's just
do you have a favorite blade shape, whether it's for folders or fixed blades?
Folders, I have, honestly, that's my favorite.
Okay. Just standard drop point?
Standard drop point. I love a drop point.
Yeah.
Fixed blades, man, I like clip points, but I'll tell you what I'm really getting into is that Nesmic style.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I mean, there's just so much you can do with that.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm really getting into these.
Let me show you something really quick. If I can scoot over here. Give me 1 second.
AC, you're right, brother. A sharp knife is a safe knife. It most certainly is.
This somewhat has, to me, it's like a mixture between a kukri, a Nesmuk, and a what's the name of it? Killins, something like that. Killins or something. Skillins. Whatever. But this blade shape right here, it's what you expect on a fixed blade, except for it's on a folder. And I'll tell you what, man, this thing is so damn useful. And the reason why is because the tip is aiming at everything you're pointing at, right? It's always aiming at it. And then when, like, say if you were going to cut a strap, it's going to trap the strap because it's facing you. The strap can't slip up and around. Then when you're push cutting, it traps the materials this way too. It literally makes cutting easier because it traps everything. And it's such a good little blade shape. This is the VOSTEED Nightshade.
I love it. I like
and
that.
just
I like that leaf shape. That kind of, that's the only way I know to describe it.
That's what's so great about it. And just so you guys know, just a little inside information, there might be a budget version of this coming right now. Because this one was an M390, and they possibly have another version coming with that's still really good. Like, it's not like too budget, but it winds up in the more mid-range category. So awesome knife. And those ones were pretty affordable either way.
I'm a big fan of that. I like that blade shape. I like that. Paul Mills said, what do you think of S390?
What was it? S390? He must have meant K390. We were talking about K390 earlier. I've never heard of S390. Unless he meant S30V.
Said an S390 with a 67 Rockwell. Huh.
Well, I never heard of S390. Recently, I got to try the M398, which is supposed to be, it's just like, I think it's just like M390, just a little bit tougher or something like that. I didn't notice much of a difference, though, to be honest. I've seen S390. I don't think I've heard of S390. I'm actually curious about it now because I usually know about steels. I haven't heard of that one.
Well, if he's got a 67 Rockwell, that's a higher Rockwell.
Yeah, that's very high. That's very high. Also, shout out to Knives Fast. I actually have a video of his prototype going up tomorrow. So go and follow his channel. Yeah, it's dropping Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. The pre-order for his knife.
So S390 apparently is used in drill bits a lot. So that's one we're going to have to look up, man.
Must be a tool steel.
Yeah. Now, do you like the tool steels?
I do. I think tool steels they're honestly they're probably the best you're going to get for because it's a tool steel. So it's probably the best you're going to get for wear resistant steels, meaning long lasting edge retention. They're not going to be the best if you're worried about corrosion usually, but there's a lot of people that really don't worry about corrosion.
Yeah. Well, you can get, I live in Florida, where swamp ass capital of the world.
You probably worry about it then.
Oh, man, I get a bunch of there's a guy, he's a vet, he owns a company, it's called Eagles Tears, and I use their blade paste. Man, they knock it out of the park, and everything holds up well. So yeah, you just got to take care of your stuff. I think sometimes we need to talk more about blade maintenance, taking care, especially like down here during the winter where you're at, it'll get on you, but you got to you got to take care of your stuff. I mean, that's just one of those things, man.
Yeah, for sure. Keeping it dry will just do wonders right there. Just keeping it dry. Like if you're in a humidity environment, then every once in a while just pull your knife out and literally take your wipe and just wipe it off. Just dry it off. Just doing that will keep a lot of problems away. And then if you can just drip a little oil once a month on there, 3-in-1 oil or whatever oil you can get, usually you'll be fine. I know there's people that like Mike Emler, he talks about it. His sweat is so acidic that he just says he just rusts steels. I'm pretty sure Lefty EDC is the same way. And those particular people, yeah, they might want to go more towards a stainless, but a lot of people, like personally myself, my K390 still looks great. It doesn't even have any real patina on it. So I don't really worry about it.
No.
I understand, though. I understand why people would.
Yeah. And I mean, if you like in the environment I work in, it's a factor, but I try to keep things wiped down, try to keep them clean, and you're fine. But that's why you see all those little case knives or little old timers or the shreds that guys used to carry.
Yep.
They always had the blades,
Yep.
I mean, had to take care of them. They lose that polish pretty quick.
That carbon steel.
Yeah.
Good old carbon steel. But that was kind of the beauty of it. Getting that little bit of bluing on there, the little bit of patina on there, you could really tell an old, like one that was loved and used because that blade has that bluing effect on there, that browning.
Yeah.
Knives Fast says Bowler S390 Micro Clean. The Decathlete. This class is RPM steel with many positive usage properties for spiral drill bits, taps, mills, broaches, and cold work applications. I've never heard of it. I'm curious what it would be like in a blade steel. It's kind of like even that what was that steel that Mikaron was using? Oh man, I can't even think of it. Whatever it was, but it was basically like a tougher version of D2. Now, when we were testing it, I noticed it sharpened completely different. Like it was nothing like D2. It took a far keener edge at a higher grit, so like you could polish it, and it took just a ridiculously sharp edge. It was super easy to sharpen. So just using it wise, you would never think it had anything to do with D2, but supposedly it was like more of a tougher version. And I think actually it had higher wear resistance too than D2. But somebody else tested the edge retention and it did okay, but it didn't do that great. So I don't know. But that was just one sample though.
What do you think about Magna Cut? I wanted to ask you about that.
So I think it's fine as long as it's above 62.5 HRC. I think once you start getting below 62.5 HRC, you're not going to see, and specifically for folders, because I think with fixed blades, you could kind of consider being under 62.5 because what is it? It's 65 HRC. It's still as tough as Vanax, right? And Vanax isn't necessarily a weak steel. So as long as you are under that, you're going to be tougher than Vanax. So I think 62.5 to like 63.5, I think is a sweet spot for it. If you could get it at 63, I think everybody would love it as long as they got it like that. Now, I think a lot of the companies, especially the ones that are using it for the first time, they're running it a little soft. I think not all of them, not all, but a lot of them they're running it, I think, at like 61 to 62, which I think is a bad thing. I think they're trying to get that balance between toughness and edge retention, which I think they're dramatically going to lose out on edge retention where people don't care about the toughness, right? Like in my folders, right? 99.9% of my stuff I do with my folders is going to be cutting. I'm going to care about more about edge retention than toughness. Now, if it's on a fixed blade, yes, I care about toughness, but on a folder, I don't care about toughness so much. Yes, I don't want it to be super brittle, which it wouldn't be between 62.5 and 63.5. It wouldn't be brittle. It'd be just fine, but your edge retention would be so much higher. And I noticed from the ones I sharpened, a massive difference between the ones that were obviously under 62 and the ones that were above 62.5, like a night and day difference. Like it almost felt like two different steels.
So so like production run guys, they're probably going to be a little lower, and then some of your guys who do, like I know Anthony, Tactical Everyday Dad.
Yeah,
Daniel Zugi did a run for him.
Yeah, and he's supposed to be doing his at 63.
So I tell you what, they held up, man.
Yeah, no, right.
I mean, they were good. They held up good. I tell you, Daniel Zugi, I don't know if you're familiar with him, dude. That guy can make a knife.
Yeah. Well, Tactical Everyday Dad, he's running it at the optimal range. He's doing it the way you should. So, of course, his is going to be spectacular compared to others. Now, another thing you're going to notice when you get in that optimal range is it's going to take such a keener edge. It's going to be easier to deburr. It's going to, the edge is going to be able to take a finer edge. I sharpened this other magnet cut, and it was, I'm guessing around 60 to 61, and it just would not, like if you went above like 1,000 grit, maybe like 1,200 grit on the stone, it got super slick. Like it was almost like there was no bite at all, which was the exact opposite of what I experienced with the magnet cut at 63. At 63, it didn't matter what grit I put it at. I could have polished it up and it still was, it had so much bite. It actually reminded me of K390.
Really?
But you see how that's two different opposites. One fell off and would not hold. So basically it seemed like its edge stability wasn't there.
Okay.
So one would not hold a fine edge while the other one took like the best fine edge you could imagine. And that's between like two HRCs.
That makes sense to me. I mean, I messed around with it. Again, don't know enough about it. Don't pretend to. But I had a Hogue Deca, so we did some hard testing on it, and then Tactical Everyday. But now you're talking about a thin folder, and then versus kind of the fixed blades that Anthony's got, and they held up well. The fixed blades did. So I was just more curious. The bigger companies, you think they're just trying to fine tune it?
Yeah, I think if we're loud enough, I guarantee they'll raise it. I think when it first came out, I think it was said that its optimal range was between 61 and 62. Now, optimal meaning without sacrificing toughness. So with keeping the toughness really high and the edge retention high, where it was a nice balance, I'm sure 61 and 62 is great. Now, if you go above that, what happens is that the toughness is going to go down slightly and the edge retention is going to go massively up. But that's what we want in a folder. We want that edge retention up because it's not like you're sacrificing like all the toughness. It's not like it suddenly just becomes brittle. It's going to be perfectly fine, but it's going to have the ability to hold a longer edge and a lot longer. So that's why I think that if they do, like with those companies, like say, let's just name them, like Hogue, ProTech, companies like that are going to be using it, if we yelled about it enough, they are going to raise it right away. I heard Chris Reeves is planning on running it at 63, so that says something.
Yeah.
If Chris Reeves is planning on running it at 63, that's amazing. I think 62 to 63, that's going to be right there in the optimal. It was either 62 to 63 or 63 to 64. Either way, he's going to be running it right around 63. That's amazing. That's where you want it.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it will.
I've tried some of it. I actually, was it the Pacific? Which one did Bill Harsey design a knife with, Chris? Do you remember? Is it the Green Beret or the Pacific? I
Man,
can't
I don't
remember, man.
remember. I don't remember.
But it was a hell of a knife. I know that. I've got a video of it somewhere. I'm a big Bill Harsey fan. Good dude. That
Me
guy,
too.
man, that
Me
guy,
too.
loved that guy.
Let me
Loved
show you
that.
the one I got really quick. I got do you know BGM knives? He does fixed blades.
Yes.
Okay, so BGM, he does, and shout out to BGM Knives, guys. He does regrinds. He did my regrind on my Spartan Harsey.
Oh,
I got a hollow grind put on this. So this thing, oh, I love it. It's so much thinner now. Now it's nice and thin behind the edge. So it's not as robust as it was, but it cuts so much better. It's for EDC and for just regular cutting use. This thing worlds better in my opinion. And I
bro,
love this knife. This is such a good knife. So solid.
that's my grill knife. The Spartan Harsey folder is my grill knife.
Have you ever got to try one?
Yeah. Rusty, I know JR sent me one. Here was the deal, man. I did a review of the Spartan Defensa that Mr. Bill designed. And I got a call the next day from Bill Harsey. And I've been able to talk to Bill 2 or 3 times on the phone. You talk about oh yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Bro, that it made my whole day. Guy's a wealth of knowledge. He's as humble as he is kind. And he's just, man, dude's just awesome. And he was, his family was in the logging business. So
Okay.
you know, we were able to talk across the board. He's down to earth, he's humble, and the guy's just a wealth of knowledge. So I'm a huge Harsey fan. Anything Bill Harsey does, I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, I like it when some of the makers or the companies they seem relatable. They just seem like regular dudes. I don't personally like it when they seem unreachable. Where it's almost like they don't talk or get anywhere involved with the community or anything like that. It's almost like they don't even know who's buying their knives or care. I hate that. I like seeing a guy, that's humble and and I guess loves knives, just like we do, and likes to not only improve their knives as much as they can, but likes to be relatable to the community. And I've always heard, I've never talked to him, but I've heard great things about the guy. And I always thought, looking at this knife, when I think of in my head, a tactical knife, right? I know that's a cliche word or whatever, but when I think of a real tactical knife, one of the first ones that comes up in my head is a Harsey. There's only a couple knives that do that to me. One is the Microtech SOCOM, then obviously the the godfather of tactical knives, and then the Harsey folder.
Yeah. Mr.
Which I was
Bill
from Boxer Zola, by the way, guys. Sorry, go ahead.
The Billy Waugh the Billy Waugh demo was actually,
how is it pronounced? Billy Wad?
Billy Waugh.
Billy Waugh. Billy Waugh.
Billy Waugh is actually the oldest CIA paramilitary man ever to fight. They dropped Billy into Afghanistan in 2001 at 71 years old. But Bill Harsey and Robert Young Pelton sat down with Billy, and said, man, look, if you were behind enemy lines, what knife would you want?
Yeah.
And the 3 of them come up with this. But I love the Harsey design. And I asked Bill, I said, man, let me ask you something. He said, yeah. I said, your tactical side, did you ever serve? He said, no. He said, never did. He said, but I've spent enough time with guys who've been in the stuff and been overseas, and he told me story after story after story of working with Green Berets or SEALs or whoever.
Yeah.
And he said, man, you do it long enough, you kind of figure out what they like. And he hits it. And that Spartan Harsey, man, that's just money. I mean, that's
kind of like Bob Terzola. Bob
Yeah.
Terzola's story down in South America, where they asked him to make them, a tactical folding knife.
Right.
And, and that's where that came from. And basically, tactical would mean a versatile knife that would be good in urban or jungle situations, that's good for, survival and possibly self-defense, right? Where it can just fit all those roles. Now, I'm going to show you a knife I recently got. This is called the AM8. Damn it, I can't even think of the name now. The AM8. Oh, it's got a. Oh man, just give me 2 seconds. I literally just posted a video on it. The Gladiator. I don't know why I couldn't think of that word, and it has that resemblance to it. But right here,
Oh, that's a good looking knife.
yeah, it's really good looking. It's got that nice clip point blade on it, kind of like the Contigo or the 940.
Yeah.
Nice
That's a good looking.
neutral
That's a clean
handle.
looking knife.
Yeah, it is very clean.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. It looks good and it's super solid. It feels nice and solid.
That's another thing it has to do. To me, a knife has to be solid. I mean, for what I do, and whether it's work, play, I'm hard on things. My wife will tell you that I beat stuff up. It's just the nature of the game. So I like a knife that I can feel. I like a knife that I know I have in my pocket, and it just has to be solid. And that Spartan Harsey, man, again, that's just a grill knife.
It's a tank, man. It's a tank.
Really is.
Yeah.
They knocked it out.
You got to respect it, man. You got to respect it when you can get a knife and just holding it, that sucker's tough. You can just feel. And he's got what, 3 big body screws, down the back side of it. Did he need 3? Probably not, but why not, right? Why not? Why not throw an extra screw on there?
Oh, yeah.
I like that though. And I've said this so much, like some people like their knives to look as plain as, not plain, but as little hardware as possible. To me, I like the big hardware. It looks tough. It looks solid, robust. I like the look of it. Just like my stop pins. I like having a big stop pin, a big pivot. I love it. And this has all of that. That's what
Great.
It just seems so solid.
And the thing is, too, you can, just like with you sharpened it, you changed the profile, or you had somebody change the profile. You made it your knife. You made what you like. It's tough, it's durable, and it'll cut the way you want it to. And I think that's big. And
it's still tough. It's still tough.
Yeah.
Just because I put that hollow grind on it, and if you know, the original tactical knife by Bob Terzola was a hollow grind too. Right. So this just makes it cut a little bit better. It's still super tough.
Yeah. Well, doesn't that have more to do with the heat treat?
The heat treat is going to be a huge factor in toughness, but geometry too, because obviously thicker steel is going to be tougher than thinner steel. So that does have a lot to do with it. But I think if you can keep it at 15 thousandths and up, there's even a Strider that's been, like, there's lots of videos of them being abused, and it's at 15 thousandths behind the edge. I've never heard of anybody, unless if they intentionally did it, snapping one of those blades. Now, intentionally, yes, I've seen people snap those blades, but that's intentionally, right? They're trying to break it. But other than that, if you're just using it tough and hard, if it has a good heat treat on it, 15 thousandths can hold up really, really good. Now, I'm not saying that all fixed blades should be that thin behind the edge. Of course not. Of course not. If you want something for chopping wood, yeah, you need something a little bit thicker behind the edge, for sure. And shout out to Stasa23 in the house. Definitely go and follow his channel.
Well, the thing is, too, Jared, with knives and things like that, and I was, when you were talking to your mom, I was saying, we do hard use, but we don't abuse, right? Like I've had people ask me, well, I want to see you pry with it. Well, no. I could take every knife I've sat here and shown and snap them. That to me doesn't prove anything. And the other side of that is this: you have to have a certain touch. Like I've seen certain guys stab and pry. you got to develop a touch for that. And
That's so true. That's so true.
I'm heavy handed. So
I've snapped a lot of tips that way.
Yeah. I don't want to pop a bunch of blades on knives. I don't care if it's $5 or $500.
Right.
Now, I might buy some cheap, crappy knives and practice and get that touch.
Yeah.
But I don't, and I try to make that clear in videos. Hey, look, I'm learning. And I don't, because I had a guy will jam it at the stump. No, I'll snap it. I'm not doing that.
Right. I always say, like, when it comes to prying, light, and when I say light duty prying, people need to understand what I mean when I say light duty prying, because I believe in light duty prying, because light duty prying is popping a cap off of something. Is literal what it means, like, or what it sounds like. Light duty, meaning whatever you're prying is not going to hurt your blade. And that stuff I believe in, because I always did construction. So we were always prying stuff all day. And I've snapped a lot of blades doing it because I'm prying stuff that I shouldn't be, and I'm overdoing it. But if you're carrying a robust, tough, hard use knife, like just for an example, like say the AD10, right? The Cold Steel AD10. That sucker can take some light duty prying. Yeah. Now, I'm not telling you to go and start prying doors off of hinges, but light duty prying, it's got the geometry, it's got the steel, it'll be just fine. And I'm not telling you to do it, but it is when we start taking it past the level of which you should ever use your knife. It's still a cutting tool.
Well, I think we've all snapped blades, man.
Oh yeah, I've snapped. Usually when they broke for me, there was because of poor heat treat. Jeremiah, Fine Bones, thank you, man. What's up, Jared? How's the foot? I hope everyone has a good and safe 4th. Thank you, man. I appreciate the donation. The foot is healing. It's healing. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for the donation.
Talking about that 80-10, I don't know why, but I've got this 80-15. Now I've got an 80-10, and I'm a big cold steel guy, but man, this 80-15, I've tried with it.
Oh yeah.
And here's the deal. When I'm talking about prying, I'm talking about in a video. We've all used knives to work. We've all used knives to do jobs. We've all done that, and we've all snapped them. Everybody has. I'm talking about like in a video and things like that. I try to shy away from that. When I've snapped mine, I've usually just been aggravated and mad, and you're 10 minutes into trying to get into a room or a door or something you can't get into, and there it goes.
How did the 15 do?
Did well.
Yeah?
It did well.
Did you ever fail the lock?
No.
Did the lock ever fail on you? No?
No. And I tried a couple times. But the thing is, and I'm not, I'm not crazy about the lock. I like the triad lock. I'm just a fan of the triad lock. But there's just something about this blade shape that I really like. And there's something about the knife I really like. And I don't know that I'm sold on the lock yet. But there's certain knives that speak to you. And there's certain knives that I can't. It's like that. It's like this little Emerson CQC7.
Mm-hmm.
This thing's never failed on me. It's never, and it's a liner lock, but it's done well, and it just speaks to me. I mean, I know.
I've heard a lot about that one. A lot of people stand by the CQC7. They say it is a tough son of a bitch. So
I'm just a fan of it, man. It does everything I need it to do, and it's one I can take to work. It's easy to clean. It's easy, It's just that go to hell knife. You know what I'm saying? That's just for me. That's what I love.
But for everybody that's in the chat, if you want to see some hard use testing, definitely go and check out Scab's channel. He gets it done in his videos. I love it. I think it's hilarious. I love it.
We stabbed a lot of tires today. Yeah, somebody said, remember my half-breed MILF review. Yeah, now that's one you can't break. That have you got much exposure with half-breed?
No, I haven't. I have not.
They put out a hell of a knife. They really do.
That's awesome.
They're heavy. They're big.
When I see try breaking that sucker, I just think that thing's got to be thick.
It's a monster.
Yeah,
it's an absolute monster. they've got a fixed blade version and a folder version, and they do a great job, man. I believe it's an Australian company, Half Breed. They're tough, man. Yeah, there's certain knives. Let me walk that back. There's certain things that would be incredibly difficult to snap. But my point is, like with the LT Wrights or the Little Evil or something like that, if you're not careful, you know. And I think everybody has a place in the knife community. I think there's channels that purposely take knives to failure. I think that has a place. Just for me, I like to show them, you know, hard use, everyday use that you're going to use. That's what I like to do.
Yeah.
You know.
Hey, Kyle, I actually just did a video on that subject for you. It's all utility style blades on a budget or affordable ones. Go and check that out. I posted it like 2 days ago. But if you want one just for recommendation right now, the GANZO FH21, this thing is under 20. It's like 25 bucks. It has as good of action as any Shuro Goroff. I mean, this thing is so snappy. The flipper tab is super comfortable. The liner lock's easy to get to. This is a high quality under $30 knife. You can't go wrong with this one. The GANZO FH21.
Now you like Best Tech, don't you?
Yeah, but you know, I was backed off of them for a little while, and I'm just now recently getting back into them because I guess I just didn't have enough of them on the channel. But then this son of a bitch showed up, and it's a beast, man. This thing, and it's really, really well done. This thing, it's huge though. This thing's over 9 inches. You can see how much handle's hanging out the back. It's got like a 4-inch blade, complete fall shut action, but it feels very premium. It kind of reminds you of a giant Liang Ma in a way, but yeah, really solid, really good knife. This is a Cambo design, and I just did a first impressions on this, guys. If you guys want to check it out, I think it got posted 2 days ago as well. Awesome knife.
It's got that leaf shape. My wife loves. She has the Best Tech Kendo.
Okay.
She has 2 of them, and she uses her knives more than most people I know. But she loves them. And I'd seen a thing where you were. I think I checked out that video. If I didn't, I'm going to. But I like that leaf shape on that blade.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that. Looks a little bit like the one you were showing earlier.
Yeah, and you know, the leaf shape works. That's what's beautiful about it. It works. It's similar to what you'd expect from like a kitchen knife. You know, it's the reason why Spydercos work so good. TRMs, you know, the TRM knives, there's a reason why they work so good. They just have that shape where they're going towards everything you're cutting. And that's what I love about them. They have it's not necessarily a drop point, but it has the essence of a drop point.
Right. It's almost like that. What's the Cold Steel Colossus that has that kind of, and that's probably not the name of it. The leaf shape's probably not a good name of it, but that's kind of what that looks like.
Yeah. They do make, it's not technically a smaller version of it, but it's the same designer, and this is the Best Tech Nuke. It's similar to it. It's not an exact small version of it, but same designer, so it has the same essence. But this is a small knife. So to me, this one's a little too small. The other one is too big for most people. I mean, here, let me just show you next to a PM2.
Okay.
This thing's a giant. It's a big son of a bitch. But I like it, though. I like it. Here's another big one that kind of caught my attention lately, but it's not too big. It's a good size. And this is the Tucson TS 175. It's a Tonto, but it's a good Tonto because the secondary tip works really good. It is a button lock. Nice, big, broad handle, as you can see. So this thing, you can get anybody's hands will fit this. This is a big knife, but not too big. It's big where anybody who likes a full-size knife would like this. I think it's 3.6-inch blade, something like that. 3.75 maybe. But great thumb stud action.
I've been impressed with Tucson. They've done a lot I really liked a lot of their stuff.
Yep.
Rusty Knife Lover sent one, and I checked it out, man, and I was kind of like, hell yes. And I've got a couple more. I do like them a lot.
And this one's a button lock. They did a damn good job on this button lock. I mean, when you can hear it, it locks in place.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I'm always worried about with button locks, on whether or not the spring and the lock geometry is going to work together. Because if the spring's not strong enough, then the plunge going into where it locks up at is not going to push hard enough. And if the geometry of the lock isn't right, you're going to get blade rock. It's just going to happen. That's why like 50% of all button locks will wind up getting blade rock, you know, where you get that little bit of rattle in the blade.
Right.
It doesn't mean it's going to fail, but it's annoying. This is rock solid every direction. I believe it's on multi-row bearings too, so I'm not 100% on that. I could be lying about that.
Yeah, that I like the button locks, but that blade rock will drive you nuts.
Yes.
I've got a larger pocket knife right here that I carry quite a bit that I'm a big fan of. My pocket.
Oh, yeah.
This is this one I like. I actually just had this one sharpened up. This thing, I've got to do a review on it or a demonstration on it, whatever the hell you want to call it. But we're going to stab off in the shit with this. This is going to be fun. This one's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? Here's the thing. Cold steel catches a bad rap about a lot of stuff, but I've got a lot of them because of the work I do and because of stuff like that. Honestly, I'm hold up, man. You can beat the hell out of the thing.
They're probably the best at holding up. I got this sucker right here, the Cold Steel Formax Scout.
Oh, I love it.
Love it, man. And this is, you can't get any more bank vault locked up for a folder. Like when that locks in place, you're guaranteed it is not going anywhere. You can do just about anything you can do with a folding knife with this. The lock is so strong. I think, what is it, 800 pounds is what they hold on the spine. How would you ever put that on a blade? I mean,
that's if you're going to kill a rhinoceros or something.
Right. Exactly.
I've got that. Chattanooga Chop, what's up, brother? I've got the Formax Scout and I've got the Italian made. Now, see, I'm a big Italian made knife guy. I don't know why. There's no real reason, but anything Italian made, man, I freaking love.
Yeah.
I've been in
the only problem I have with the Italian ones, and it's specifically only one steel, but they tend to run some of their heat treats a little soft, and I'm specifically talking about M390. For their other steels, they're probably fine, but with M390 specifically, they always run it soft. But you know, maybe they'll improve it this year. I don't know.
Now, let me ask you this, and do you know who makes Cold Steel's Formax, the Italian made Formax? Do you know who made that?
I have no idea.
I don't either, but
I don't see it saying Maniago on there. This one's the Taiwan one.
Yep.
Which is an OS 10, but no, I don't know. I know a lot of the Italian knives come out of Maniago.
Okay.
So I would guess it'd be them, but it's hard to say. Dude, I tried to kill the Cold Steel Engage and it's still kicking. Yeah, go and watch that video, guys, if you guys want to see a Cold Steel take some abuse.
Now, is that their new lock?
Yeah, the Engage. Yeah, it's basically a shark lock.
Okay.
I mean, it's just lower down on the handle. A shark lock is up here, right here. The Engage is down here, right where you'd expect a triad lock to be. But the system, it works the exact same way. There's a couple little differences in how they do their stop pin, but it's basically the same. Now, they tested it, and they said in their testings it held 700 pounds, I think. Yeah, I think it held 700. So that's a hell of a lot of weight.
Here's the thing with that.
Yeah, 750 pounds.
A lot. Let me tell you something. Their videos are the king. because they started off what they had, you know, he had that little Hitler Youth look when they were all wearing, like, Lynn wore the black on black, and then they went to the, like, brown. I'm like, dude, but their
do something about that.
yeah, we got to work on that, Lynn. What he got his little towel, he looked like Lord Helmet from Spaceball.
Yep.
Man, their videos, nobody beats them. They're old ones. The guy that did the Tomahawk Kata and all that. I mean, that's what got me into that.
For sure.
Love them,
so I'm wondering, right, what I'm curious about them, because, you know, Lynn Thompson, he's not with them no more, right? So that lock, and other people put this into my head, so I guess this wasn't my first idea, but other people were saying, I wonder if that the Engage lock, you know, the lock that's on the Atlas lock is what it's called, was the Atlas lock old drawings that excuse me, Andrew Demko had from the Shark lock, and maybe through everything that went with Cold Steel, maybe it was like old prototypes that he had drawn up, and then they just started using it. Because if Cold Steel's not in business with Lynn Thompson and Andrew Demko's doing his own thing, how the hell do they get off doing a lock that's almost identical to the Shark lock when they already separated? Like, it's just kind of weird how all of a sudden they're doing a lock just like Andrew Demko.
Well,
but we know Andrew Demko had so much ties with Cold Steel.
But you know, too, well, I've seen several videos recently where they've went to Lynn's ranch. They've done videos with Lynn, because I don't care what anybody says, a lot of the old school Cold Steel guys, and only time will tell, but a lot of people got pissed off with Lynn gone. If you don't keep Lynn around some, you're going to lose a lot of people. So I don't know. And, you know, when they, you know, doing a business deal like that, there's no telling what
they had in the deal.
You might have X amount of years that you can use this. This is what we had, you know. So did Demko leave completely?
Say that again, I'm sorry. From what I understand, Cold Steel only held on to his swords, canes, and like that type of stuff, and then but all his folders went to that new company. What's guys? Can one of you guys name that new company? GCM or something? I forget the damn name of it. Somebody will be able to name it here in the comments. I know I think it starts with a C or a G, but that's the company that took over Cold Steel. Right. So, and then they have, you know, rights to all the old models, all the Triad locks, all of that, to my knowledge.
Yeah, there's
GSM. Thank you, Todd. GSM.
But you know, they probably signed. There's all kind of stuff, because you can't. Lynn Thompson, whether you love him, whether you hate him, no matter what you think of, dude's iconic.
I like him.
I love him.
I think he's badass.
I love that dude, man. I just love the guy. But as much as we love him, people dislike him. But I'm like, you know what?
I don't know why. I don't know why anybody could dislike him.
Not me either, dude. He's funny. And they made, you know what? They made knives. Like, I'm sitting here just looking at my table. There's a Recon 1 over there. There's the Espada. There's the 80-15. I got the 80-10, the 4MAX. Yeah. I've probably got 30 Cold Steel folders, and I love them.
Right.
And my sons will have them. That's the other thing.
Well, when you think of another knife company that inspired to make the strong, and I'm not, obviously Andrew Demko had a lot to do with this, but inspired to make the toughest damn knives on the planet for one, and then prove it.
Yeah.
Right? You know, because he stabbing them into the hoods of cars and doing all shit. And he would do it just for fun, just to show you that the knife could do it. And man, I love it. I think that's awesome.
Have you seen the guy that went fishing with a katana, Buck Medley? Please tell me you've seen that video.
No, I haven't.
You've not seen Buck Medley katana fishing?
No, I haven't.
Bro, it's a guy
Buck meddling katana fishing.
Buck Medley, the South Texas legend. He looks like Dog the Bounty Hunter. He takes a katana machete and goes fishing. Dude, you've got to see that, man.
Katana
you've
fishing.
Bro.
I'm going to see if I can find it real quick.
It's iconic. It's like
okay, I got it right here. We're going to watch it together.
Oh.
Hold on a second. We're going to have to pause it and talk and stuff because otherwise they'll get me for copyright. So we'll keep continuing to pause it. Now I'm going to have to mute my mic. So while it's playing, let's just not talk at all. And then I'll pause it and then we'll talk just so the microphones don't get messed up. Let's do, hold on a second. Yeah, there it is. All right. So let me go full screen on it. Make sure it's good. All right. Let's do it.
First time ever. We're going to try to slay one of these giant buffalo with this katana cold steel machete. Just out from cold steel, shape of a katana, excellent killing sword. We're going to try to get out this buffalo swarm and see if we can stab a giant buffalo with this katana cold steel machete. First time ever been done. Let's see what happens.
Okay, echo. Hella echo. Hey, Scab, can you mute your mic?
Let me see.
You can see it down at the bottom of the screen. Just push mute.
Hold on.
I can. You know what? Let me see if I can mute you.
I got it.
You got it?
Do you know how?
No, he's doing it. Okay. Oh, this is great.
Oh, there it is. It's one.
We just got to pause and talk. We just have to pause and talk for 1 second.
Yeah. Hey, he, dude, I'm telling you, when he gets the fish, let it run if we can.
Oh, we will. We're going to let it play out. We just got to stop and talk. Otherwise, they'll get me for copyright.
Yeah. No.
Right.
This, let's do it.
I think it's, yeah, baby. Yeah, it was. Okay, but they said it was good. Was there an echo still from mine? Oh, well, cool. All right, let's get it. All right, can you mute your mic? It's muted to me. As long as there isn't an echo, I'm okay. Oh, we got it! Damn! Holy shit!
Whoa! Katana in the cold water, baby! Woo! Ah! 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 Now that's action. I've never been done before. Giant buffalo with a katana cold steel machete.
That is amazing. That was Did he two-hand it? I think he two-handed one on the blade because he had gloves on, right?
Yeah.
He two-handed, so one on the what do you call it? The handle of the knife, and then one hand on the blade, right in like a spear.
Bro, at the end, he just throws the damn fish and sword. I'm like, but see,
Does he?
Oh yeah. At the very end, I'm like, Peter's going crazy because he just tosses the dude. I'm like, holy shit.
It was a damn carp. I mean,
dude, that's just badass. That's
Buck so badass.
His kid is named Bucky.
Yep.
That's Buck Medley and his kid's Bucky. Yeah.
Bucky.
And that's cold steel to the core.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
There's another guy. I recently found his channel. I had never seen him before. And most of the videos I've seen of him, I've only watched a few because, like I said, I just found him. He takes cold steel fixed blades and cold steel folders, and he beats them until they break. So no matter what, these knives are going to break. Like, it's guaranteed. That's what he's doing. I forget the name of him. What was that?
Joe X.
I mean, I can't remember the name. He wears a mask and everything. Like, he gets suited. Yeah, he gets suited up for it because obviously when you're doing that much stuff, you want to be careful. Like, I understand why he's wearing a mask. Blades will be flying in your face. He is doing as much as you can possibly do to a knife, and he'll like literally take a rock and just beat the knife against the rock for 10 minutes. It's hilarious.
I've talked to him a time or two through email. He's an awesome guy. He loves what he does. I don't know if he owns like a junkyard or what.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. That
stuff, man. Yeah, I love that dude, man.
Yeah, no, it's an awesome channel. He's definitely once they really see him, he's going to start getting bigger.
Yeah.
Once his channel starts getting some exposure, because he's doing the biggest torture test you could do to a knife. Now, obviously, this isn't like what you would think a real life scenario, but if you're wanting an apocalyptic knife, something that can stand through an apocalypse, I mean, he's using some of the toughest knives in the world, and when you see how much torture they can take on his channel, you realize just how tough these knives are.
Well, he's done some open L's, he's done some Moras.
Okay.
I know he's done some tops. He's got an awesome channel, man. The guy's
I need to check out more of his catalog.
He's a good dude too, man.
He gets a lot of flack. Knives.
He gets a lot of flack, but
does he?
Yeah. There's a lot of folks that get bent out of shape about that. But here's my thing, Jared. If it's his money and it's his knife, you can't tell a man what to do with his stuff.
No.
And he loves it. We talked through email, and he's like, man, I love what I'm doing. I'm okay. I said, man, keep going. I love your channel.
Damn right. I don't think you can honestly do anything that the people are going to love without pissing somebody off. So I say piss them off even more. You know what I mean? In this day and age, is there anything we can do without pissing somebody off? I don't think so. Especially not if it's anything fucking awesome.
You almost have to. Somebody mentioned Addicted to Blades 2. Addicted to Blades 2 is an awesome dude. He's an awesome guy. He's got an awesome channel. He does a lot of that. It's what I've tried to do, Jared.
Later, Joe. Thank you for coming.
Joe, take it easy, brother. What I've tried to do, man, is reach out across the board. We got a katana guys, a lot of bushcraft guys, and I think they bring a ton to the thing. Clemens. He's feeling those
I piss him off. Perfect. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Scab.
No, I think I think everybody has value, and it goes back to that. I think every channel has value in what they bring. I just, that's me. I think he does a great. So I'll tell you this: some of those Moras and some of those open
Yeah.
L took a lot more, dude, than because I'm thinking, oh shit, this is no.
Well, some of the Moras, man, they are just like when people ask me, "Hey, do you know like a super tough, affordable knife?" I always mention Moras because Moras they make like I've only had a couple of them, but there's some like I think the one is like $80. I forget
The
exactly how
Garber.
much it is, but it is and that thing is just as solid as you can get. And then they make some I think in 14C28N, which is a super tough steel, easy to sharpen, and they're badass. Like if you want a knife that's just you can just beat on, they make like $15-$20 knives that you can just beat the shit out of. Yeah,
This right
there you go.
here, this knife is probably a $10 to $15 knife.
Right.
And I went a couple months ago, man. Blackie Thomas has an awesome channel. He's an older guy, master woodsman. He
Yeah.
swears by them things, dude.
Oh, I bet. Even the Dutch Bushcraft boys, they had some on their channel, and they were surprised at how much theirs to take.
Yeah, I really, when I seen them on Joe's channel, I thought, well, but they helped the damn. I tell you what shocked me was when he did the couple with the open L's, you know, those old school.
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
what he did, man. He's out here stabbing a damn car hood. Now, if I had car hoods, I'd stab the shit out of them. But we just talked about the guy, Ted, Tactical Everyday Dad. He messaged me because I did his Grizzlar. He goes, dude, you got a car you can stab? I said, no, but I got a 55-gallon drum. You want me to? He goes, yeah, that's what I was out there.
There you go.
It held up. I was impressed. That kind of, I think all that shit has value.
Mine, the one I pulled up, this is the Cold Steel 4MAX Scout. So the Scout is isn't as big and robust as the regular 4MAX. This is big though. You can see how much handle's hanging out. This is still a big knife. Probably a 4-inch blade. Yeah, badass.
But you know what, man? That it's called. They call it the Scout because it's what AUS 10A. And somebody asked you in the comments, and I was going to follow up with it. What do you think of the AUS 10A?
So this is going to be a little controversial, but so cold steels, and I know this almost doesn't make sense because if I had to guess, right, if I had to put money on it, I would say the Demco's knives, his 80 20.5s, you know, the new 20.5s that came out, I would guess they're made in the same factory as Cold Steels because they're both Taiwan, right? Cold Steel's AUS 10 is awesome. And they're using AUS 10A, and so was the Demco 80 20.5s. But the 20.5s, something, at least with the first batch, maybe 2 batches, something was wrong with that stuff. I tested a couple of them. All of them had something wrong with the heat treat. Now, I got mine from Blade Show when they first got dropped on Blade Show, and I'm sure he probably rushed to get them there. So I'm just guessing. If I had to guess, I would say they rushed it in order to get them to Blade Show that year, and that's why it was, you know, compromised. So I'm not saying anybody else's is messed up. I'm just saying the batch that I experienced was messed up. And I put multiple edges on. I had a lot of different issues. And I've sharpened a ton of AUS 10. But Cold Steels, I've never, ever had a problem with Cold Steel's AUS 10. Good steel.
That, my all-time favorite Cold Steel is the Rajah 2. I've got 2 or 3 of them. It's my favorite knife. And it's in that AUS 10. Now, personally, it's just a personal thing. I'm not a fan of AUS 8.
Yeah,
I'm just not.
Yeah.
But AUS 10 from Cold Steel, I like a lot, man.
They do a good job with it. They do. They do a good job with it. And it's a relatively tough steel, good stainless, holds a decent edge. And for, you know, and also they have the S35 VN ones too. For what is it, the 8010 that comes in S35. I think the one I have is an S35. That's a fucking beast of a knife too, man. That thing is just, It's a tank. Oh, you know what? We are past story time. Scab, are you ready to get into story time?
We can do story time.
All right,
Maybe
let's
you
get
want
into
to-
story time, guys. You guys ready for story time? I know we're about 15 minutes past story time.
I'm trying to beg my wife for a drink.
I know how it feels.
You're so needy.
Thank you, baby.
You're welcome.
We're doing story time. I'll tell one about you.
Here you go.
Tell me how story time works.
So story time is you just come up with a story. We usually like crazy stories here. So you just tell a story sometime. It has to be a true story though. Now you don't have to admit that it's a true story. You can sometimes I like to say, you know, this might or might not be a true story, but you can tell any story you want.
All right.
Usually we try to get exciting stuff, but whatever you can.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is the truth. And I just told this on my TikTok. I'm a big TikTok guy. So here's the deal. I bounced for 20 years and worked security and stuff like that, okay? I worked bars. I worked a couple clubs, but mainly bars. So I was working one night and my wife was bartending. Now, I had worked at this bar, but I was working at another bar, so we went up to hang out. So one of my buddies went up with me, and as we're sitting there, he comes out there. He said, "Hey, man, we got a problem." I said, "We ain't got a problem." He goes, "No, we got a problem." He said, "This guy's getting loud with this girl." I said, "We don't work here." He goes, "Come on, man." I said, "Dude, don't." I said, I looked in there. It was a man and wife. I said, "You never get in the middle of a man and wife argument." Never.
So hold on a second. Wait. Just back up really quick. You were a bouncer at a different place, not at this place.
Yeah, I had worked at this place previously.
Okay, gotcha.
Bar. We really went just to have some drinks with my wife. She was at that time, before she got in profession. Now she was working outside bar.
Gotcha.
So we're hanging out, and this guy was a younger kid and wanted to help. I'd been around the block a time or two. Anyway, he talks me into it. So finally, the couple walk outside, and at this bar in Florida, they own the bar and the parking lot. So you were responsible for the bar and the parking lot, not just the door, right?
Right.
So I walk out back, and the guy, and I'm like, "Dude, I'm not getting in the middle of an argument. If he puts his hands on her, blah, blah, blah." Well,
but he wasn't, though. He wasn't doing that.
Not at the time, but when they got around the corner, he grabbed her and put her up against the wall, right?
Gotcha.
So I stepped in, separated them, and I told her, I said, "Look, I know you're going with them, but y'all can't do that here." So he launches into this thing. He was the hand for Lord, he was the flyweight champion of his naval thing or whatever. I said, and we've been drinking too. I said, "Well, I'm the heavyweight champion of box seat, so you got to go." So he leaves, right? So we have a good time. Everything's going good. It's about 1:30, 1:45, something like that. About last call. I'm sitting there with my boy, and we're at the outside bar. Now, by this point, so I'm hammered. Everybody's hammered. And my boy sitting beside me, he goes, "Hey, man, is that dude on a Schwinn?" I said, "Huh?" "Swear to you, she's right here. She'll verify it." I look through the parking lot, Jared, and this dude's riding a Schwinn. So I'm looking at the dude. He comes up and he throws the bike down. And I'm thinking, this guy looks familiar. So he goes over there, man, and he's just giving the manager what for. So it gets kind of quiet, and I'm listening. And I thought, okay, that's the dude from earlier. So I say, "Man, you got a problem?" He said, "I got something for you." Now, that's not something you say. All right. Any experience I've ever had with that's not been good.
Yep.
I go to stand up. Well, when I go to stand up, son, I realize how drunk I was. I was that kind of drunk where you close one eye, and I told y'all this eye floats. I close this one to keep my balance. I said, "Oh, yeah, what you got?" And before God, he comes up with some of these fighting gloves. I said,
"Fighting gloves or spiked gloves?"
The gloves, fighting gloves.
Okay.
MMA gloves.
Right.
I said, I'll meet you in the parking lot. And I'm walking, dude, and I'm trying to keep my balance. I was more worried, seriously, about throwing up. So he gets to the edge of the thing. I said, come on, man, I'll give you the first shot. He hit me, and I started laughing, and it's probably because I was just drunk. I started laughing. I said, dude, let's don't do this, man.
All right.
Just go home. So long story short, we'll work through that because the fight don't really matter. I picked him up and threw him down a couple times, and finally I just helped him up. And I'm like, dude, please go home.
Yeah.
He said, well, you ain't hurt me. So I kind of gave him a little shot to the ribs. He said, oh, that was a good one. All right. So I walk over, get his bicycle, and I come over and hand it, and he's taking off his gloves, man, and he's looking down. And I go to hand him the bicycle. I said, all right, buddy, listen, you got to go. I swear to you, Jared, he said, what am I going to tell my wife? I said, huh? He said, what am I going to? I said, what do you mean? What are you going to tell your wife? Dude sits on the step with his head down like he's just come. He said, man,
his ego's hurt.
Yeah. He said, I told her I was going to come up here and beat your ass. And she said I couldn't do it. And I told her I could. And I come up here and I couldn't. I said, just tell her you did. I'm good with it.
Yeah. Just tell her you did.
Grow up. Just go. So
yeah.
He gets up, shakes my hand, rides a little Schwinn off into the night. And we all laughing, man. We're dying laughing. Dude, this was on a Wednesday or Thursday night? Wednesday night. So I'm working at my other bar, and my phone starts blowing up with text. The dumbass brought his wife back up to the bar on Friday night.
Oh, no.
After telling her he had just beat me all. Well,
oh, no.
Around at the bar. As soon as he comes walking up, everybody starts dying laughing at this dude, man. She found out he started riding that Schwinn a lot more, dude. His wife wasn't happy with him.
She found out the truth. Oh, no. Talk about a hurt ego. Fuck.
Well, who goes back up there? Just, you know what you got?
I know exactly what you're saying. Damn.
But you rode a bicycle. So, yeah. So there's all, that's my story.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That was a good one. Oh, man. The bicycle just makes it all great.
The bicycle was the whole thing, because he'd come back up in a car. Well, that's nothing. But coming up on a bicycle and throwing it down.
Yeah.
And who the hell walks around with MMA gloves? Honest to God.
You think he wouldn't want those? I mean, I guess they do protect your hands a little bit, but in a street fight, that's something I personally wouldn't want, because in a street fight, you're usually, you're grabbing and things like that. That's kind of making it a little bit more difficult to do that.
Well, and here's the thing. He wasn't no boxer. Boxers don't crow hop when they go. The guy comes off the thing and crow hop to hit me, and I'm like, bro, you ain't you because I've had the misfortune in bouncing for 20 years. I've tied up with a couple of guys who had boxed.
Right.
And let me just say, I didn't win those.
Right.
I mean, guys that train in that shit and got hands.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what they do.
Game. Yeah.
Right. It's what they do. Yeah.
Yeah. You ain't gonna mess with people, talk all that shit and all that. A dude that fights Golden Gloves or any of that seriously trained, you ain't gonna do nothing with.
Well, it's harder to hit them too, because they're used to parrying and and dodging punches so much that it's a lot more difficult when they're trained, when they that's what they do. It's even just like wrestling. Wrestling with a wrestler, you're gonna get fucked up. Bad. That's what they do. That's what they do.
Everybody's doing wrestling comments in the thing. So here's the deal, guys. I've been watching some. Here's my guy, Ming.
Thanks, Bob.
I got Ming. MENG. Anybody got anybody better than Ming? And I like Rick Rude too.
Steroids are
wrestling comments. Ming was my guy, or Haku. Steroids are a hell of a drug. They sure are.
Mr. Perfect was the most skilled wrestler to never get the WWF championship. Who walks around with MMA gloves?
Well, that was my thing. He brought him up there. Mr. Perfect could go. Rick Rude was a badass in real life. I'm just reading the comments. My favorite was Ming, and then my all-time favorite's Ric Flair.
Oh yeah, Ric Flair was awesome. Woo!
You know, he's got a match coming up. His last match, dude's like 70.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Jen, thank you for the 2 crackers towards the Fixes Your Foot Fund. You big banana. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yeah, I need every penny I can get right now. I'll tell you what. It's a son of a bitch, but hey, you know, shit happens. So I don't know if you're willing to tell it or not, but you know, I heard you say that you got stabbed. Would you be willing to tell that story, or?
I got cut. I've had several things. Well, I'll tell you what. How about this? I'll tell you. I got shot. And,
Okay.
The thing was this. And bouncing, I bounced from I think 1992 to maybe 2011 or 12. Okay, so that time frame. And I always had a rule, or tried to have a rule. I never jumped on anybody that was drunk. Okay. Now, well, let me tell you this story first. I had a good friend of mine who was very good with his hands, had a background in a lot of stuff. Military guy, cool guy. He comes in a bar one night, and we had a kid bouncing, and my buddy was drunk. Not calling a problem, was just drunk. Well, I was going up to get him to walk him out. Well, this kid gets to him and sucker punches my buddy, the kid that worked for us. Jumps on my buddy, and my buddy's drunk. So by the time I get there and break him up, so I get my buddy to his car and I come back. I said, I'm going to tell you something, son. He's going to come back here tomorrow night and he's going to beat your ass from one side of it. I said, you don't know what you just done.
Right.
I said,
right.
I'll just tell you like that.
Yeah.
I said, I'm not.
Yeah, I've seen something exactly just like that too. So
the very next morning I get a phone call. He said, what? I told him exactly what happened. He said, I'll be there tonight.
Mm-hmm.
He put that kid in the hospital.
Yeah.
So I always had a rule. Having said that, I always had a rule. I just didn't, man, if somebody's just pissed drunk, I tried to walk them out. If I did have to manhandle, I tried to get them nowhere around their neck, just tried to get them and get them out. Because I've been drunk. I mean, we've all been drunk, right?
Yeah.
Well,
I've definitely had really, really intoxicated people even take swings at me, and I've never taken it personally.
No. I mean, they're
just too drunk to fight, and it's almost demeaning in a way to you to beat somebody up in that type of state of mind.
Well, somebody's going to come back on your ass. So I just believed in that. But there was a kid who got rowdy. It was a big fight. And I got on this. The guy hit me back here. He sucker punched me. I got on him probably a little more than I should. But when everything was said and done, they left. Well, somebody went and told his brother that his brother was the kid that I got on was super drunk and I sucker punched. That didn't happen, right? So the guy's brother is a wannabe thug. I'm working, dude, working 15 miles from here, doing a locating job in the middle of the day. And I hear, hey, motherfucker, you remember me? And I turn around and I'm kind of looking at the guy. And all of a sudden I felt something and I heard the shot. And I'm looking at this guy and I realized he had a gun. I could tell by his face that I don't think he was trying to hit me. I think he was trying to shoot around me. But bro, he got me. You can see it in some of my videos on my left leg. He got me in the calf, right? Okay. And it ain't like, well, I know my experience. It ain't like the damn movies where that shit hurts, man. It hurt. But I'm like, and I'm sitting at the truck, dude. I make it to the truck. Nobody stopped. Not one person stopped. They haul ass. Not one person. I put every piece of gauze I could in my leg. And the whole time I'm sitting there thinking, how in the hell can I get away from telling Megan? I mean, dude, it's a hole this big. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Well, I go and people, if anybody wants to think I'm bullshitting, there's a hospital, Orange Park Hospital. They're terrible. You go there to die. I was 10 minutes from it. That's where I went.
Yeah.
I
know about hospitals just like that.
I come up with a bullshit story. It was straight bullshit. Mm-hmm. They pulled a little piece of metal out, and the guy said, "What's this?" I said, "Man, I think I told him I had stepped through like some kind of table and got some metal in my, just some dumbass thing."
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
they never questioned it. They sewed me up, and this is why I was telling you to take care of that. I've got a little bit of nerve damage there, right? But here was the thing, bro. It got infected.
Because they left pieces inside. Right.
It took me 8 to 9 months, and my wife's a radiation therapist, so she's good with wound care and with all that.
Mm-hmm.
And bro, that's why I was telling you, man, just please be careful, because it can.
Yeah.
I mean, we stayed on it. The infection damn near killed me, and the gunshot was just, but that shit hurts, man.
Yeah. No, I've done. I've told stories on here. My dad was a paraplegic. He got hit by a backhoe, and I had to do 13 years of wound care on him. So I got my hands full with wound care knowledge. Everything from amputated legs to sores the size of footballs, like just everything you can imagine. Yeah,
just be careful, man. But I've got, man, and that's why I think I texted you and asked you, and I had gone back and forth because I started story time with Scab on TikTok. Just you can't do shit with a knife on TikTok.
I know. That's why I'm nervous to even go on there. I was going to try to sharpen knives on there, but you'd hate to grow a big following and put in a lot of work to just get it taken away.
Well, there were some guys in the comments mentioning Addicted to Blades 2. The guy's name is John. He does all kind of cuts.
The Ultimate Warrior. Go ahead, sorry.
The Ultimate Warrior was a crazy dude.
Yeah.
But John was on TikTok, and Jared, all he did, he would cut bottles every day, right? That's it. They ban him for life for dangerous acts. So
see, and that's why it scares me for even sharpening a knife, because I could get away with it, because people did tell me as long as you're, like cutting food and things like that, you're fine. But to me, it's like, what if I spent a year building a catalog and doing all that, then just one day they decide, I don't want that shit. Because that's a lot of time and effort. People don't realize what it takes to film and edit and post. And not saying people don't. A lot of people do. But to get it all taken away from you like that, that would be devastating.
I had a couple videos with knives, and they just weren't going anywhere. I was like, you know what? Both of them got stripes or whatever you call them. So I took them down. And then story time with Scab started. I don't show knives. I don't have a knife, and it took off. I've actually met Lex Luger when he was.
Oh, really?
Big. Yeah. Let me tell you something. Right now, I think I'm 5'10", something like that, about 280. When I met Luger, I was powerlifting, and I was about 307. That dude made me look small.
I used to love Lex Luger.
Luger was huge, man.
Yeah.
I met Dr. Death. I met Rick Steiner, Scott Steiner. Scott Steiner and Dr. Death, they were big. They were big guys. Steiner was big, but he was short. He was dangerous with water bottles and that's about it.
So telling a story really quick, since you brought up getting shot, somebody asked me a couple weeks ago to tell the story, my story now. Mine isn't a bullet, but I have been shot at a couple times by bullets, a few times. But we had a potato cannon, and we were, you know what a potato cannon is, right? Potato gun. Anybody who knows a potato gun knows how powerful they are. It's a cannon. They're just using a potato to shoot it. That's the only difference. It's a cannon. It's a gun that shoots potatoes. So if you ever heard one, it sounds just like a shotgun. And they launch potatoes a mile. I mean, I don't know how far, however far you can shoot something. But we had one, and we were in the backyard, and we were trying to shoot it. And, you take off the back cap of it, and you put an igniter back there, right? So we kept putting the igniter back there, and it just would not go off. It would not go off. Well, the spark for us to see was down the barrel, the actual igniter, and we couldn't see it through the tail end. And remember, we've been trying to set it off for 2 hours. Click, 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 won't go off. The second I look down the barrel to see if the igniter's working, boom, right in my eyeball.
No
Breaks
way.
all the bones in my face. I ruptured my eyeball, and I was blind for, I don't know, between 2 weeks and a month or something, like fully 100% blind. Because when you damage one eye, your other eye shows sympathy. So it wound up making it to where I couldn't see out of both eyes. And just to even try to see out of my good eye, because I broke everything in my face. So just to see out of that eye was like nearly impossible, in the excruciating pain. So I wound up having to go to a hospital, like you were saying, a hospital you don't go to unless if you're going to die, right? Because this hospital just sucks so bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
I went there, and they were putting painkillers in my eyes. I don't know what it was, maybe liquid morphine or something. I don't know what it was, but they were putting something in my eye, and nothing was working. And I wound up leaving there, and I was still pulling potato out of my eye afterwards. Like, this hospital was so bad, they didn't even get all the shit out of my eye. They didn't even register that anything was broke or anything. I wound up going to a doctor like 2 days later, and she looked at my x-ray and was like, she was pissed for me. She's like, they
Yeah.
let you leave the hospital? Like, you know, I was only in there for like 6 to 8 hours or something. And actually, when I walked in, this is how bad this hospital is. I walk in, right, because I'm bleeding from my eyes, my nose, and my mouth. I'm coughing up blood. Like, that's how bad this is. And I walk in, blood coming out of my eyes, my nose, my mouth, and they hand me a form to fill out. I spit blood all over it and handed it back to him. I'm blind. I can't see nothing, right? You know, and luckily right then I could hear my sister walk in, because I can hear, I can't see though. And she's like, I'll take it. Right. And then I knew, like, what happened was somebody called my sister and told my sister what happened, and she met me there.
Now,
So
how old were you, Jared?
My brother, I don't think my brother was dead yet. So probably 21, 21, something like that. And so after, you know, I went in the hospital and everything, and they, you know, kicked me out of the hospital after like 6 to 8 hours or whatever. I go home, and like I said, I went to another doctor, and she's looking at my x-ray, and she's like, your entire face is shattered. Like, you know, your orbital, all this is just shattered, like broke to shit. And she told me the eyeball, you know, what I did to my eyeball. I ruptured something in the back, but I forget what it's called now. But it made it to where I was blind. And so it was like between 2 weeks and a month, I was 100% blind. And then when my vision started coming back, everything was blue. I actually couldn't see in color. Everything was blue and was shaped.
Crazy.
Yeah. So, and it's normal though, I guess, when something like that happens. So when I looked around, like if I looked at a wall, all I seen was circles, because everything was shapes. It's really weird how it happens when you're getting your vision back. So everything's blue, everything is circles. It's like almost like seeing little orbs everywhere. And then over time, you know, and dude, some of the worst pain I've ever felt. I was probably awake for 4 days straight, taking more painkillers that if I wasn't hurt, would have killed me. That's how much painkillers I was taking, and they weren't doing anything. The pain was so excruciating. I couldn't sleep, but if I moved, like, it was almost like trying to run a nail through your eyeball really slow. Like, that was the pain. It was so painful. But yeah, and then I wound up healing up. But now, even now, like if I touch certain parts of my face, I feel it in other places because of the nerve damage and things.
Now, was there a time where you didn't think you'd be able to see?
Well, actually, I should have said this part. When it happened, I'm sure you know, like people always talk about when you almost die, your life flashes before your eyes, right? Like,
Yeah.
mine was my future. Because when I got hit, I hit the ground really fast, but I didn't get knocked out, which is crazy. I should have been knocked out. I literally sprung right to my feet as soon as I got knocked down, hit the ground, jumped right back up, and I realized I was alive. Because I thought I was dead. Right when it hit me, I thought I was dead.
Right.
Like, you're dead, you know. But then I jumped back up and realized I'm alive. And literally, I swear to God, my future of being I don't want to sound bad or anything to anybody who's got physical problems, but I like a mutant my whole life. I literally was picturing myself with a half a face for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Like, there's no possible way I have an eyeball right now or the side of my face. I'm still alive, so that means I'm going to have to live the rest of my life with no eyeball and no side of my face. On the way to the hospital, I grabbed my face and I peeled my skin up, and I asked the guy that was rushing me in the emergency room, I said, don't lie to me. I said, do not fucking lie to me. I said, do I have an eyeball? And he looked real closely and he said, I think so. But he could barely tell. He could barely tell because it was, messed up. Blood and everything else. But he said, I think so. And I did. I still had it. It was just ruptured. In the back of it, something, I forget what it's called, but something in the back of it was ruptured because I couldn't see nothing. I was completely blind. So, to me, when you're completely blind, your eye's gone.
Well, it's a wonder you didn't from the because it's powder, right? I mean, it's black powder. It goes off like a gunshot.
Well, this was so I should have said this part too. The igniter that we're using, because there's different igniters you can use. This was an aerosol, so it's an air. What you do is you use an aerosol, and when the spark goes off, it ignites the aerosol, and boom, it shoots out. So what happened was we were using too much, and it was too wet inside the container. So when you do it, you only want a little bit, just a little bit, just enough, because you know how like when you light fumes is what lights up, right? So what happened was we were soaking it to the point to where there wasn't enough fumes. It was too wet from the aerosol. So once it wore down a little bit, now it's all fumes. Boom. That's why it went off. That's why it wouldn't go off. And that's why it wound up going off later.
Yeah. That's crazy, man.
Yeah. It messed me up good. I was messed up for a while.
I guess so. Shit.
Yeah.
You took a potato. I mean, that ain't even funny, dude. I mean,
no, it's not. It's not funny.
Shit, man.
But it definitely humbled me. Like on like people being blind and not being able to see. Like I got a completely different view on life of like how I feel like when I see somebody who's blind or something like that, because being able to see and then going to blind, the struggle I had, like put it this way, a water bottle right next to me, right? I'm thirsty. I want to get that water bottle. I'm in so much pain and I'm trying to find a water bottle, but every single time I would knock it over. Yeah. Every single time. So it's like, and then now I got to find it, but I can't see. And just moving is so painful to me. So like getting up and going anywhere to the bathroom or anything like that was such a struggle. It was the one time I really went off at my mom, because my mother tried to take all my painkillers from me while I was in the middle of the worst pain ever. And I got up and I wound up starting to break everything around me because I couldn't see. So it was just whatever was in my vicinity was getting broken. But it's just, that's how much pain I was in. I was in so much pain that I was willing to destroy everything around me.
Hell yeah. Well, you broke all them bones in your face, man.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
And, the hospital, man, the hospital is such a shitty hospital. They didn't even acknowledge it. They didn't even take out all the shit that was in my eye. They should have cleaned it out. They should have been able to read my x-ray. They should have never let me leave.
They should have put you in intensive care, dude.
That's my point. That was the doctor's point, that like 2 days later, when I'm sitting there, she's like, you should sue them. Like, this doesn't make any sense. You should be in the hospital still. Like, they let you, like, she's like sitting there like, they let you leave? Like, this doesn't even make sense. She's looking at my x-ray. Like, you'd have to be a third grader to not read. And she shows me, or not me, but the person I was with, like showing him, like, his face is shattered. And it's as obvious to anybody who can read an x-ray. His face is shattered. Like, why would they ever let him leave like this? But that's how shitty.
Yeah.
That same
like that, man.
Well, that same hospital killed a friend of mine that went in there, got into a motorcycle accident, broke his leg. They overdosed him while he was there. So, I mean, this hospital is just like the worst of the worst kind. Like, people literally, like, if you get shot, it's like, go to the next one. I don't care how far Just don't stop at that one, please. That's how this hospital is.
That's the way this one is.
Yeah.
My mom got in a wreck, went to the hospital. I showed up. My dad was like, we walk in, we talk to my mom. She said, well, they're discharging me. So the nurse comes in to talk to my mom, and she said, I need you to sign this. And my mom said, my name? What do you need? What? My mom didn't even know where she was at. So the nurse helped her sign her name, and they sent her home. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense, dude. But it's like every town has that hospital. You go there to die.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, that's where you're going to die.
They hire the most affordable doctors, like whatever they can do to cut costs. Like even the one time I had to go to that hospital for whatever reason, and I had surgery. I had an infection on my wrist, and it was like a softball on my wrist. They wound up fucking it all up, anyways. But while I was there, the nurse. Literally, because I was pissed. Like I was literally fighting with all the nurses, and she's like, "Listen, I just want you to know, like, I don't blame you if you leave and go to another hospital." It's like that's the nurse telling me that.
That's your cue.
She's basically like, "I wouldn't be here if I was you. I wouldn't be here. Like, why are you here?"
Not a good sign. Not a good sign.
No.
No, when they're trying to get rid of you, yeah, it's time to go, man.
Right. Especially when there's being honest, you know. Like you could find a lot better place than this one.
You could have told me that at the door before I got in, and y'all were going
Right,
to charge me.
before I'm admitted.
Yeah, before I'm about to die. I'm trying to keep up with the chat. They're
Yeah.
a wrestling thing.
Hogan had come into Powerhouse Schaumburg while doing an event at the Horizon. That dude was a monster. No, Jackson was the only guy bigger at that gym. Yeah, some of those wrestlers, man, there's a reason why they get into that career, man. Some of them are just they're giants.
Wrestlers, pro athletes, they're just it's a different
genetics.
It's not all. It's genetic. It's not all steroids.
Yeah. No. The steroids just increase what the genetics already has. You could take all the steroids you want in the world and not get like them.
That was like people were talking about Bonds on steroids. Look, I took more steroids than most of Jacksonville, and I couldn't hit a curveball to save my soul, son. Pro athlete,
you still need the talent, right?
Huh?
I said you still need the talent. You still need the talent and the genetics, and there's so many things to it.
You got to have the skill set, the mentality. It's like Mark McGuire, and that obviously at the end of his career he was doing something. But dude, his first at bat in the major leagues, first pitch I think was a curveball. He swings and miss. I think it was Tim McCarver said, if you're going to be in the big leagues, you got to hit that, son. Very next pitch was a curveball. He hit it 480 feet or whatever. And this, if you look at McGuire at the beginning of his career, he wasn't on anything.
He says, yo, Scab, as a fellow Floridian, we understand the battle with rust. How do you feel about high stainless steels like Vanex or LC200N? So, LC2...
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, LC200N is like the same steel that's on the Spyderco Chef. There's a few other knives that use it, but Spyderco uses it. And then Vanex, the problem with Vanex is almost nobody uses it. You got Quiet Carry using it, and then I think some Shirogoroffs use it, but I don't know anybody else who's really using it.
I'll tell you what I use, guys. And again, it's a veteran-owned company, and you can look it up. It's called Eagles Tears. Okay. I use Eagles Tears blade paste on all of my carbon steels, 1095, SK85. And
is it a paste?
It's a paste.
Okay.
The thing I like, Mr. George sells it in a big tub, or he sells these like chapstick size tubes.
Mm-hmm.
And Jared, I coat my stuff up. We in Florida, one, you're never 75 miles. You're never more than 75 miles from an ocean in Florida.
Okay.
Two, our humidity, like I think a couple of weeks ago, it was like, I think the heat index was 102, 103. but the humidity is 80 to 85%.
Right.
So humidity here is a monster. If you're near the ocean, the salinity in the air. So I use the blade paste, but honestly, like what you said, I keep my stuff dry. I try to maintain it. And I really think a lot of times too, and it's something that was brought up to me that I've tried to do more and more, is talk a little bit about blade maintenance. Not just sharpening, but taking care of your steel, you know, because
it's amazing to me how many people really don't. Like some of the knives I get in for sharpening, or just some of the knives I see, like obviously a lot of the people in the community do, but when you step out of the community, some of the knives that'll come out of people's pockets, it's like, have you ever wiped this thing off? Like, what the fuck?
I mean, but see, there's a lot of guys too who just, like, I've known guys like my grandfather. I've got a couple of his knives before he passed on. Dude, they never. I mean, it was an old carbon steel blade. I've seen him. He cleared land. We'd be working somewhere, and he'd get out of the truck and go over to a vegetable garden and cut tomatoes, put a little salt on them, and eat them. Never wipe the blade. I mean, it's just, you know.
I think there's a couple other ones out there, Currency. But Florida's definitely one of them. I try to use, I got the KPL stuff now that I use now, but before I was using 3-in-1. It cleans, protects, and and something else, but it basically gets down into the structure of the steel. I think it's in penetrates, cleans, penetrates, and protects. And that stuff, you just wipe it on, leave it on for 5 minutes, wipe it off, and your knife's usually pretty good because it keeps the moisture from embedding into the steel. So
well, and a lot of it too is what you use it for.
Pony Boy. That's a movie I haven't seen in a while.
Long time.
Yeah, I read the book. It's one of the only books I ever read. Well, for regular books, I've read a lot of books on things, like animals and stuff.
Like animals.
Well, I'm an animal lover, and I used to want to be. Well, I did dog training for a while, but I used to want to be like like a herpetologist or something like that. That's somebody who works with reptiles. And I used to have a lot of them. I used to have a ton of reptiles. I've had so many different kinds of animals, but I used to always want to work with animals. And then that's what got me into dog training. So I was doing that for a while. But yeah, so like the type of books that I would get into, like growing up, it was never like regular books. It was always like factual books, books on things I was interested in.
Well, here's a question before we go.
Yep.
I don't want to forget it. You're from around Chicago, right?
Yep.
Isn't there like a famous haunted ass cemetery around there?
So there's a haunted, it's in Joliet. There's the haunted prison that's no, you're talking. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the one in Chicago. So that is yes, and you have to sign a waiver to go to it. It's called
Isn't it like in the woods or something?
Well, I've never personally been to it, but I've talked to people that have been to it. It's called something. It sounds like something with Satan, like Hayden or something. I don't know. Anyways, but you have to sign a waiver to go to it. And these guys can actually lay hands on you. They do crazy things to you. And so what it is if you make it to the end without giving up, you get like $1,000 or something stupid. But it's not worth it because they literally they damn near torture you. They do fucked up shit. Like girls, they'll shave your head. They do crazy things. But like I said, you sign a waiver. You sign a waiver stating that they can basically do whatever they want to you. And so I've heard stories about people going through it. What is it called?
Now, who does that to you?
Well, the people that work there, like you're going through it, and the farther you get, the harder it gets. The farther you get, the more ridiculous it gets. They separate you from your people. So you think you're with a team. You're not going to be with people. You will get separated. Like I've heard of girls like they get tossed in like a bathtub where they get their heads shaved and just all kinds of crazy shit. I wish I'm not even sure if they do it anymore, because the last I heard of it was a few years ago, but it was pretty popular for a few years. People talking about it. It's a haunted house that you'll never make it all the way through. Put it this way though, at any moment you can leave. At any moment you can give up and leave. The thing is though, and that's how they do it. So that's why almost nobody ever makes it to the end.
Look here, you shave my head, you'll meet a ghost. I promise you that. Or try to
but you're signing up to do it. You're signing up for them to basically torture you.
I found the place that I was talking about. It's Bachelor's Grove Cemetery. So
I'm not thinking of that one. They have the haunted prison, which is in Joliet. Right. I've been to that one. That one, it was pretty good, actually. It was really good.
But this one, I had seen a thing. I like the spooky stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I would seen this thing. I thought, I'm going to ask Jared if he's been there. But it's Bachelor's Grove, and it's like it's been around since the 1820s. Okay. But I want to say now it's MIDLOTHIN. I don't want to try to pronounce it. I don't know if it's like a suburb of Chicago. Midlothian.
Read it or spell it again.
MIDLOTHIAN.
I don't know. Midlothian? I know there's one in. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
There's one in Zion that it's actually in. My mom actually used to work at the building. It's in it's an old sewing place, and now that place is not there no more. Whiteside Drapery is what it used to be called, and now it's during Halloween, seasons and stuff. They turned it into this haunted house, but it's actually really cool. You can, it's like a really popular haunted house. You can actually watch videos of it online if you look up haunted house in Zion, Illinois. It's really cool. Like they actually drive around like the city for like a month before Halloween and like promoting it and stuff. Right. And it's pretty cool. Like they have videos online, like of like some of it of like people going through it. It's pretty cool.
I'll check that out.
If anybody wants to check out a cool haunted house, watch the videos on that one. That one's pretty cool.
I'll check that one out for sure. Cause I was looking up some of the like Rose Hill Cemetery and some things like that. And then down here, right down the
Haiti, I think that's what it's called. Haiti. Sorry, go ahead.
Haiti.
I think that's the one that I was talking about. Haiti. Did mention? I see if it's the right one. It might not be sure. I don't know. Let me see. 13th
Southeast. Key-ball, I'm trying to figure out how is it Midlothian? Am I saying
worst
right?
haunted house, Chicago, Illinois. 13th floor. Maybe it is the 13th floor, and that's the one. This is by far the worst experience I've ever had at a haunted house yet. 13th floor. I don't know if this is it, though. The one that I'm talking about might have shut down because, like I said, it was pretty bad. Like, I think they might have got lawsuits and shit like that. Because this one's saying Schiller Park. But you can look up. There's a bunch of them around here because, it's such a big area.
I'll look
But the one I'm thinking of, I thought it was called Haiti. But anyways, we used to. I used to love haunted houses. So growing up, I used to love them.
Right. I like going and exploring old buildings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There's an old jail right down the road from here that I've been to a time or two. That it's creepy as shit. It's been around since I think 1860s or something like that.
Is it big?
No. It's a 2-story. They had 4 executions there, which were hangings. The tree's still there. They had 2 sheriffs murdered there, 6 suicides there. But it's like, Jared, it's like a whole, in Green Cove Springs, it's like a whole little complex. It's like the old courthouse, the old jailhouse, and things like that. But they've kept it up. They've kept it maintained. I like going and looking at the architecture and the old, and I just like the creepy factor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I love that, man.
Did you ever film?
Not there.
No.
Not there. I
Did
may
you
next
film
time.
other ones?
Well, I used to clean my dad's church, right?
Okay.
It's what I call the haunted ass church. And dude, and again, my wife can verify. I'll tell you this real quick.
Yep.
Megan used to help me out. Like when she was in school, we'd go up there and we'd clean, right? So we go in one day and we finish the church. And we always kind of joked about something being there, right? But we get done, we're going to go get some dinner. So when you go into the auditorium in the very back, there's a thing called the green room. To the left is the church office, right? So I was going to shut the light off in the green room. Meg was going to shut the lights off in the church office. So I go back, shut the lights off. When I'm coming out, she comes out of the office. She's got her head down, arms straight down, and she's moving, son. And she don't hardly believe in nothing. So I'm like, Meg, and I called her through. She didn't answer. I'm like, oh shit, I done something. Well, I go through, man. She didn't go out of the church. She went out of the church, got in the car, and parked in the road.
Yeah.
So I get out of the church and I go get in the car and we drive off. And she said, let me ask you something. I said, yeah. She said, did you say anything to me when I was in the office? I said, well, she said, no, when I was in the office. I said, no, why? She said, because when I turned off the light, I heard, well, hello there. And she said, I started laughing because I thought it was you. And then I realized it wasn't your voice. So I got the hell out of there. Here's the thing. Here's the whole thing. The next year, a buddy of mine from work comes up to pick some stuff up. His girlfriend's a psychic. And she said, can I walk through there? He said, I said, yeah, just don't do that. Yeah. She said, so she goes through, listen, she comes out, this hand before God, she said, hey, come in here, I want to ask you something. So she walks me through, Jared. She mentioned several things that actually happened. So I'm like, the hell? We get to that office, bro, before the psychic walks in, and I've said nothing, she turned around and she said, well, hello there. Dude, my blood. I said, what'd you say? She said, there's a man in there, and that's what I heard him say. So it verified what Megan heard. But
She said that's exactly what she heard. Well, hello there.
And she had no idea, dude. Because when she said, well, hello there, I was like, oh, shit, you better ring that bell, too.
Yeah. Forrest, thank you for the 2 bones. Good evening to you, sir. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about, like that type of stuff. I've had one crazy experience myself. I've told the story on here where I had gotten a house, and the people before me, the lady before me, she committed suicide in there. And there was like the neighbors and everything all said that the place was haunted and all this shit, but we didn't know that before we bought it and got it. And I was redoing the whole house and everything. And while I was there, weird shit started happening after a little while. It was actually pretty quick after I got it, but and several things that I still can't explain happened while I was there. And like one time I'm inside and a friend's there, and she's outside, and she just starts screaming bloody murder, like for me to come, right? And I can tell the type of sound it is, like it's like a sound of like somebody's there, right? And I ran out, and she starts telling me there's somebody in your, because it was 2 houses, by the way. It was an in-law house and a big house. And she's like, there's somebody in your house. Like they were just looking at me, like staring at me out the window. And I'm like, all right. And the way she's saying it, like, there's somebody in the house. Like, I'm not doubting her one bit. I grab my gun, I go over there, and I search it. There's nobody there, right? And she, when I walk out though, and she's trembling now because she realizes the whole time, like what she was looking at wasn't normal, right? Like,
Right.
and she was like, she wasn't somebody that would joke around or anything like that. Like, she was pretty serious. So now she won't even go in that fucking house. So I know she's being serious. Like, she doesn't want nothing to do with my fucking property anymore. And a
Megan
bunch of
won't go
other
back to the
things.
church.
What's that?
I said Megan won't go back to the church.
Well, a bunch of other things happened too. One time I was installing something, a fish tank in the wall, and I'm working on it. And I walk out to my garage, and when I walk back in, my radio that was right next to me where I was working is just on full blast. And I had blamed it on the people that were there before. Like, I thought they were pranking me or something. And they're like, no, we've been gone for like a half hour. And I couldn't explain that. And I was like, whatever. Then when I would take pictures in there, every time I take a picture, orbs would cover the picture. Like, you couldn't take a picture. And that was especially in the room where the lady committed suicide. So when I take pictures in there, there would just be orbs all over the picture. Well, another thing that happened was I had my dog. She was a bull mastiff, badass dog, guard dog to the bone, though. Fearless. We're upstairs in the little house where the person's seen somebody in the window, and she's sitting there and she's got her butt to this closet, and all of a sudden she just turns around and starts going crazy after something, like actually attacking something, but whatever she's attacking is attacking her too. She's literally running and like, like a dog, if you like pinched them in the butt, how they would tuck their butts. Yeah. She's doing that, but then turning around and trying to bite the thing. And she's staring at this closet, like her teeth out, drooling. And I'm like, there's nothing there. I'm sitting there trying to tell her there's nothing there. And she will not take her eyes off of it. And every time I try to walk her away from it, she turns around and goes after it again, like attacking it. So like when I would try to walk her away from it, she acted like she got bit. Like she'd literally tuck her ass and turn around. And I know my dog very well. Like I said, I was a dog trainer. So none of this was like common for her. And this is a tough dog. Like, this is a dog that doesn't shy away from anything. And she was so freaked out. Her hair standing up. She looked like she just got into a fight with another dog or something. And I could never explain it. There was nothing in the closet. There was nothing there. And then another time, and I'm almost to the end of it. I know it's getting late. I'm in the bedroom where the lady committed suicide, and I hear somebody talking, like I couldn't tell if they were talking to me or calling my name or what, but it was so obvious that somebody was talking. I came out talking to them, like, hello,
Right.
And nobody was there, but it was clear as day somebody was talking in my house. And this is a split level, so talking echoes, like, when somebody's talking, right? It's not like it's not that big, but it's a large house, but it's all, you could see everything, right? I could see the end of the house. Anyways, well, then as I'm working on the house, because I'm tearing everything down, I wind up finding all of the lady's stuff that committed suicide tucked up in this thing in the same room she committed suicide in. A bunch of like letters and notes and love letters, because after she committed suicide, her husband wound up going insane, and they had to come and remove him from the house, him and his dog. And it was like a whole spiel. The guy had spent like a year trying to stop her from committing suicide. He had shoved all cleaners and poisons in the walls, trying to hide them from her. Kitchen knives, things like that. So when I tore out the drywall to replace it, things were just falling out of the walls that he had hid, like stuffing, like, because it's an old house, so you can like kind of stuff things up like through the roof, let it fall down in between the damn drywall and the outside of the wall. You could like shove things in there, and I found all kinds of stuff. But after I found that stuff in that room, like, I was questioning, should I get rid of it? Like, what if it starts getting worse? Right? But after I got rid of it, I wound up getting rid of it. I had the house blessed, and then everything went away. After that, I could take pictures. The pictures came out perfect. Like, it was like just everything went away. And I'm not saying it's a ghost. I don't know what the fuck it was. I just know what happened. Like that's the only thing I can say is exactly what happened. But it was really weird though. My neighbors though, because I didn't give two shits about it, but my neighbors constantly, every time I see him, like, did you see the ghost yet? Like saying shit like that. I'm like, I thought he was fucking with me at first, but then when things started actually happening,
Right.
I'm like, this cocksucker knows something. You know?
Thanks
Zach.
for probably barring them.
Zach, thank you for the 5 bones. Definitely do something kind for somebody. Thank you, Zach. I
Zach's
do
a good
appreciate
dude,
it, man.
Zach's
Zach's
a
awesome,
good
man.
dude.
And go
Brother?
and follow Zach's stuff. Awesome channel, awesome content. Great dude in the community.
He really is, man. Dude's a great guy.
Elvis used to go to McDonald's every Thursday where I'm at, Maurice. He stopped during COVID. Oh, man. Dude, I have some messed up stories. My friends used to record me when I slept. Room always had crazy things going on. Even my wife has seen shit things next to me at night while sleeping. Most things I think can be explained. Like that's how I think. My brain always thinks like that. Like, oh, there's always an explanation. So like I said, I don't even know if I necessarily believe in anything. But that shit that happened to me during those few weeks, I can't explain the little details. And some of them, like they're kind of weird. So it's like you could maybe say, you know, like argue certain things. So, you know, it's tough to say what something actually was, but it was really weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, brother, I've enjoyed it.
Yes, sir.
That time.
Scab, I do appreciate you coming and hanging out with me. I apologize about the beginning of it, man.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
We had a
Unexpected things, man.
Take over Neevesknives for the night.
I
thought it was cool.
Yeah, everybody go and follow Scab's channel. Q Ball, can you please link it in the chat? I appreciate it. Oh, right here. Bang. Thank you, Q Ball. Definitely go and follow his channel. He beats the hell out of some knives, and I love it. Thank you to everybody who joined us tonight. Thank you to everybody who donated. I do appreciate all the donations. They help so much. They help keep this channel going and running. Thank you to all the moderators for having my back during the lives. Thank you to all the patron members. Thank you to all the Bang Gang Squad members. And thank you to Scab for joining us. I love you guys. Peace.
Later.